All right, happy Tuesday morning and welcome into the Marc Cox Morning Show. Hopefully everybody is bundled up this morning because, baby, it is cold outside. Let me tell you, in the teens and
not even.
Yeah,
9.
First world problems. Like I couldn't get the remote start to work on my truck this morning. I was very bummed out. I don't know why. I'm a little worried. But, I had
Were
to
you
go
able
out.
to get your gold coins in your
I
pocket?
had to go out in the cold and start my car this morning and let it warm up. I know Sue hates it when you do
Everyone's
that.
going to play their tiny violin for you this morning, Mark.
I know. But, it's bad enough having to go to work at this hour and then have to go out and get in an ice cold car. So nobody wants to put up with that. Hey, I'm kind of tired because I was up late. Anybody else?
So I didn't stay up the entire game, but the first thing I did when I woke up this morning was I Googled it. And then while I was getting ready for work, I was actually watching the interview with Cignetti and Mendoza.
Yes.
And I watched the last few minutes where they got the interception. I mean, I was rooting for Indiana. I was so excited. I haven't texted Tom Ackerman yet, but that's on my to-do list today.
Well, I left Ackerman alone last night. I'll probably text him today because I'm sure he's on cloud nine. He got to be there for that. And I mean, the thing about Indiana all season that people were saying is, well, they haven't really played anybody yet. They haven't played anybody yet, as they were 8-0, 9-0, 10-0, 11-0. Even my friends who are Alabama fans said, well, they haven't played anybody yet until they finally beat Alabama, and then they couldn't say that anymore. So now who can you say they didn't play? They played everybody in the college football world deemed to be among the best, and they've whipped them all. So congratulations to Cignetti and to Fernando Mendoza and the entire gang. Couldn't be happier for him. You got to watch a little bit of history. And the thing about it is I think more people were maybe aware of this as it was going along. Like as the Kurt Warner thing developed in real time, you at the time may not have been aware of just how fantastic that season was. But wow, I mean, everybody took notice of this, and I couldn't have been happier. Now, if my voice sounds a little strained, it's because on Saturday I was at the Broncos playoff game with the Bills, and that place was crazy. I've never been in a pro football environment like that before. Place filled with Denver fans, all screaming at the top of their lungs. Yes, I was screaming a little bit as well. I think we all strained our voices Saturday. It was a big win, and then their quarterback got his ankle broken.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, right at the end.
I was at Monster Jam when that was going on.
How'd that go?
It was awesome.
Was it? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Easton will not stop talking about it. Gravedigger. I go Monster Jam. Everyone.
Did you take him to Pacific to see Bigfoot?
No, but I've heard there's what is it? You can get in there and drive. I don't literally drive it, but you can sit in it like a simulator.
I don't know.
It's sitting up on a rock.
Yeah.
You can see it from the highway.
But you can get inside of it, did I hear?
I doubt
you
that.
might be able to. I don't think so.
I thought there was one you could actually get inside.
Maybe they've got one there you can climb up in.
That's a possibility.
It'd be worth it for him. He'd really enjoy that.
Because there used to be multiple versions of Bigfoot. So maybe they've got one of the older ones.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it's weird that it's Tuesday and not Monday, but hopefully if you tuned in yesterday, you heard Heidi Harris. We thank her for filling in. We've got our normal slate of Tuesday morning guests today, plus our friend Dan Buck, who's normally with us on Mondays, but since yesterday was a holiday, we asked him to join us today. So he's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour, along with Ryan Wiggins. We got Todd Piro, Mark Walters coming up. There has, since the 1920s, Cam, I don't know if you probably were unaware of this, because I don't know when the last time was you tried to mail a firearm, but there's been a prohibition in the U.S. against mailing a firearm. Like legally, you could give a firearm to a family member, right, who, let's say they live out of state. But the United States Postal Service would not ship it for you. You couldn't put it in a box, secured, and ship it to your relative in Boston. Couldn't do it anywhere in the States. The DOJ has just ruled that is illegal and unconstitutional, and the U.S. Postal Service is going to have to start allowing weapons to be shipped again. Say, for example, you were traveling and you wanted to send a gun ahead to a hunting lodge somewhere. If it was a handgun, you currently couldn't do that. Now the DOJ has changed that law, that ruling, Maybe it'll be challenged in court. I don't know. But for now, it's changed. And we're going to talk to Mark Walters about that today in 2A Tuesday and what some of the implications are there, how it just makes things easier if you're a firearms owner. I don't know why they don't do more of this, right? For sure. Plus, we'll get to John Lamping coming up in the 6 o'clock hour. But, a little bit of snow coming in maybe toward the weekend, it looks like. It's still a little far out for them to say, but it might affect. We have a relative supposed to be traveling up from Atlanta on Friday, and I think they're going to not come because of this ice and snowstorm that's right now scheduled to move just underneath St. Louis on Friday, Saturday, Sunday kind of time frame, with a little bit of ice to the south and snow to the north. And if you look at the projections, it's just below us. We might get a little bit of snow out of it unless that all changes before the end of the week. So we'll keep an eye on that. Dave Murray will too. Maybe we'll have him on near the end of the week to talk a little bit more about that for sure. All right, right now, Ethan, let's get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
Do you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
Yeah, how about that? Don Lemon maybe just about to get himself in a little bit of federal law enforcement trouble. He accompanied a bunch of radical left progressives who invaded a church during a service this weekend in Minneapolis. This is how out of control the left is in the state of Minnesota right now. And Don Lemon went up there for the sole purpose of following them and was in there questioning the officials in the church about some employee they have who they all believe works for ICE. I don't know what that's got to do with anything, but it sounds to me like, based on what you're about to hear, they all could be in trouble.
We will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there.
How about that? That's Harmeet Dillon, in case you're unfamiliar with her. She's with the DOJ, and she says they are looking at this seriously. In fact, the guy that led it went on camera, uttered a bunch of cuss words at Pam Bondi and basically said, "Come and get me." I think they will.
Windows up in Michigan, trying to set up separate sets of electors. Same thing in Pennsylvania. They were trying to set up a process that will allow this country to return to what it was in 1876.
Yeah, there you have it. That was, of course, James Clyburn, who is another one of the people in Congress who probably, I don't know, probably his time is near, but he's now claiming that Republicans are in 2020, we're trying to return the United States to slavery. Did you know that? That apparently that's what J6 was all about, was starting slavery all over again. These people are morons, I'm telling you.
Greenland, how far are you guys willing to go?
Well, the president is going to make the ultimate determination here, but there's been a lot of bellyaching from Europe, and Europe has failed to contend with the fundamental argument the president and the entire administration has made. Greenland is critical.
Yeah, Greenland is critical. Thank you, J.D. Vance. If you listen to the mainstream media today, the lamestream media, here's what they're going to tell you. Did you hear it, Kim? Donald Trump said that because they didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize, he's now no longer interested in peace, and he's going to send the military in and take Greenland. Did you know that?
I'm so tired of hearing about this stupid Nobel Peace Prize. It's like every other day there's some headline about it.
Trump toys with them like a kitten with a laser light. I mean, they are so distracted by every single thing he says, even when he's joking like that. He later said, outside when he was on his way to the airplane, he said, "Listen, I don't care about the Nobel Peace Prize. I don't."
Do you actually think that's true?
I do think that's true. He said, but what I do care about is the fact that Greenland has been warned for years by NATO that the Danes, that they need to do more to secure their defense, and they have flat out ignored all of those calls because they're the Danes and that they're difficult, and we're sick of. We're not putting up with it anymore. Is effectively what the president said. That's why starting today we're doing war games in Greenland. Did you know that? Has that hit the headlines yet? Starting today, the North American NORAD, the North American Defense Group, announced that the United States will start a series of war games in full cooperation with NATO today in Greenland. So now the media, by the end of the day, will claim this is all a precursor to the U.S. invading Greenland. You watch. They will completely ignore what NORAD said, that this has long been planned in advance. The activity has been coordinated with the Kingdom of Denmark and all supporting forces operating within the requisite diplomatic clearances. The government of Greenland has also been informed of the planned activities, and it is completely routine. What do you think? What do you think's gonna happen when they get pictures of U.S. warplanes flying around Greenland today? Ooh, that's going to be interesting, isn't it? All right, we'll get to a quick break here. Ethan, let's get to our national anthem.
Oh, sing and you sing by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly sang, and the mountains
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning to you. We are in great shape on the roads. Pretty quiet out there. It's cold. There's not a lot happening, which is fine. Northbound 55 looks great through multiple construction zones at this hour. 44 eastbound looks good. 64, 40, and 70 as well. And we're quiet on the Illinois side. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, this would not be the time you would want your electricity to go out, that's for sure. If you live in an area where that happens a lot, guess what? You probably need one of those whole house generators. There may be a lot of reasons. Maybe you have medical equipment that you depend on that needs electricity to run. Well, if the power goes out, guess what? That's not going to work. And then you've got a medical emergency on your hands. Call my friends at Grasser Electric. Shane and Josh will send a certified electrician out, and they will give you a quote on one of those whole house generators. They put it in the backyard. It's powered by natural gas. And when the power kicks off, the generator kicks on about 30 seconds, and you've got your furnace, you got your air conditioner, you've got your medical equipment working, everything. That's a great idea. If you've never looked into it, call them at 636-441-5200. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it and you'd like to find out more. So just have Grasser come over. They can fix anything electrical in your home. No job too big or too small for Grasser. 441-5200. Online anytime at grasserelectric.com.
St. Louis, laugh it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on January 24th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. Onge. The Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Yesterday, I went into a church with Nakima Armstrong and I protested these white supremacists. The pastor of the church is a ICE leader in the city. How can you be a pastor and be a ICE agent? They want to come after me. Well, how can they live so comfortably while the people from Somalia that are in this country legally, that have citizenship, can't even go to their mosque and pray? How do they deserve any different? Nazis, come and get me, Pam Bondi, you traitorous. All power to the people.
I think Mr. William Kelly is going to look good in orange, don't you?
I think I need a raise for
I was going to
that.
say, if anyone deserves the MVP for this morning, it's Ethan Bright for bleeping all the, was it just F-bomb? Is that what he was saying?
Yeah,
every other word was
every
an
other
F-bomb.
word. He thinks he's a
Wow.
radical. He thinks he's tough. He was in there screaming in the face of an unarmed pastor because the poor Somalians can't go practice their religion. What's stopping them from practicing their religion? If they're here legally, they've got nothing to worry about. This is the nonsense of what's going on in Minnesota. And here's what it is. First of all, you've got a bunch of snowflakes that live in Minnesota. And I'm not making a fast, snowy reference there that it snows a lot in Minnesota. The people up there are snowflakes. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner they realize it, the better off they're going to be. And here's the point that I will make about that this morning. I have a friend that lives up there. I've mentioned that before. And I've known Robert since I worked in Greenville, South Carolina 35 years ago. In fact, he was at my wedding. I invited him to my wedding. Nice guy. I like him, right? But I'm watching his just tearful posts about what's going on in Minneapolis. He posts the other day, he reposts this picture of this Asian woman who apparently was a former reporter at WCCO. She's not on TV anymore, but she put some really sad, tear-jerking post up on Facebook that said she now carries her passport with her as she's walking around, Kim, in Minneapolis, out of fear, even though she's here legally. She was born here. She's a U.S. citizen. She lives in fear that she'll be snatched off the street by a masked man because she's an Asian walking down the street. This is what she lives in fear of. And I just kind of went sideways. I'm like, stop the drama. Has she accidentally been targeted? No. Are Asians being snatched off the street? No. Is she a criminal illegal alien? No. Are there ICE checkpoints like DUI checkpoints in Minneapolis? No. These are targeted raids on known criminals. I said, is she actively harassing and trying to impede law enforcement activities? I hope not. For those who are there illegally, it's time to go. ICE is going to continue to find the criminals. And if you're not in that category, stop posting inflammatory crap like this.
Yeah, I posted something on my Facebook that People magazine had shared.
Yes.
It said ICE agents aided a Mexican restaurant in a small town. After their meal, they detained employees. That's the kind of crap that just irks people. It paints this picture of ICE agents being heartless villains, adding little details, like even writing a restaurant in a small town. There's something about the small town feel that truly will drive people bonkers.
Well, my friend fired back on me and he goes, it's amazing you're such an expert on the activities of ICE while sitting on your lazy boy in St. Louis. Oh. You might want to sit this one out. You have no idea what's going on here. They're not just finding criminals here. People who are not white are being asked for their papers to prove they belong. Okay. Sure, you and I won't have a problem, but it's happening to a lot of my neighbors, and it's wrong. And what I responded to him with here is because he told me he's having a hard time remaining civil with me. And I said, Robert, little spoiler alert here. I have to give you a spoiler alert on this one. Minnesota is not special. The only places that are having this problem are big left-wing progressive cities that seem to think federal law doesn't apply to them. I said, you need to stop defending criminals. You need to stop interrupting church services, and your problems are going to go away along with the illegal aliens. I said, the reason this isn't happening in Missouri is that, number one, we don't allow sanctuary cities, and we honor ICE detainers. Your politicians are causing this problem, and you need to wake up. These people in Minnesota think somehow they're different than the rest of us, and they're a bunch of snowflakes is what they are, and how sad for them and a rude awakening. We'll be back with Kim on a Whim in just a minute.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Yeah, if you're like most people, you probably hesitate when it's time to go to the dentist because you're like, what if there's a problem? Maybe I ought to put that off for a little while. Well, I can tell you, my dentist, Dr. Michael White, understands that. He's been in the business a long time. His dad was a well-known dentist in the area, and he stayed in the business himself, and he just loves getting people the dental care they need and trying to ease their fears. Maybe it's a pain issue. Maybe as a child you had a bad experience. Dr. White says, don't let that stop you. Please don't let that stop you from getting the care you need for your teeth. He will make it as pain-free as humanly possible. It's going to be the easiest dental visit you've ever had at Dr. Michael White's office down in Sunset Hills. Call him at 314-270-8552. Tell him Marc Cox sent you. Make your appointment today. Again, you can go online to sunsethills.dentist.
I'm Stuart Varney, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Wall Street gets back to business today after the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Earnings are expected from United Airlines, Netflix, KeyCorp, Fifth Third Bank, U.S. Bancorp, and others. Eddie Gabor, CEO at Key Advisors Wealth Management, expects chip makers to benefit from the U.S. trade agreement with Taiwan.
I think you're going to see the semis start to run again, and some of the leaders, potentially like the NVIDIAs of the world, start to go back up to new highs over the next 30 to 60 days.
As for Netflix, Reuters says its earnings are likely to be overshadowed by its plans to buy Warner Brothers Discovery and its heated battle with Paramount Skydance. Analysts believe Netflix had its best ever revenue growth in the holiday quarter. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Jeannie Coselda, invested in you.
New Year's resolutions sound great on January 1st, but January 10th, not so much. This year, there's one resolution worth keeping, getting your finances in order. For many people, that starts with balance, not just growth, but protection too. And that's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. For over a decade, they've made it easy for investors to add gold and silver to their portfolios and reduce market risk. Visit noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals involves risk. Consult with your tax or financial professional before making investment decisions.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look great on the roads at this hour. It's cold but clear. And I will say that we have some road work scheduled in these temperatures. And on 44 today in the city, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., they will close those two eastbound lanes between Hampton and Grand for that ongoing road work. So if you've been getting caught in that, just know that it's going on today again, 9 a.m. until 6 p.m. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Let's talk Victory Men's Health for just a minute. They are about to open a brand new state-of-the-art, fantastic facility in the Metro East. It'll be their second one, and I will give you more details when that is available for you to go check out. But right now, you can visit Victory Men's Health there off Greenmount Road in O'Fallon, Illinois. Beautiful office. You're going to love the staff. I've been to all of their locations, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, the one in O'Fallon, Illinois, and the one down in Sunset Hills. So there's a Victory Men's Health within reach, guys. So you can't say anymore, well, it's not convenient, because it is convenient. You stop by, you're there for 15 or 20 minutes, they're going to take a blood test, and then they call you to discuss what they found. Their medical doctors are the ones reading your blood test. They look at the blood panel and they decide what's missing. If they need to give you vitamins, they will. Vitamin supplements. If they need to give you hormone treatments like testosterone, they can do that as well. If you're struggling with sexual health problems, you're struggling with weight loss, they can address all of these with medical professionals with 30 years in the business of dealing with men, and they can make you feel like you again. Honestly, you need to go see them. If you're not now, tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go online today, schedule your appointment at the location that's most convenient for you. It is victorymenshealth.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel, and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
From Belleville to Bridgeton, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Kim on a whim.
I was just reporting this morning in my headlines about how Canyon Cafe in Plaza Frontenac is closing, which is a restaurant that's been there for many, many years.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have. And, the reason why it matters is because so many other restaurants are closing.
Yes.
And I keep thinking about how many retail stores are also closing. I mean, Macy's just announced, I think it was last week, they're closing 14 stores across 12 states. And you have so many different stores. Starbucks, I know you don't care about Starbucks, Mark, but they're closed. I know.
Worst coffee in town.
It does taste a little bit burnt.
I think that's on purpose. But go
Why
ahead.
would they do that on purpose?
To give it a unique taste.
No.
See,
You say yes?
I agree with Mark.
Yeah, thank you.
It sets them apart, not in a good way to
So
me.
I was going to
but-
say apart as in your coffee tastes burnt.
but people like it.
Canyon Cafe, that place is great. Now, why? I guess you're going to get to. Have they said why? I mean, Plaza Frontenac is not one of those malls that's failing, right?
Well, let's talk about that. I would argue malls in general are failing. People are just moving to online, and that's the future. 8,200 U.S. shops shut in 2025. Topping the list, Rite Aid, Joann's, Party City, Big Lots, Walgreens, 7-Eleven, CVS, Dollar General. I'm just naming some of the stores that have closed. I mean, Rite Aid, for example, closed almost 1,300 stores.
Wow.
Joann's Fabric closed 815. The list goes on and on. People were freaking out when Party City shut 700. I think they shut down altogether. But remember, everyone was panicking about where to get their balloons for birthday parties.
I do.
I guess that's all people got at Party City.
Well,
but
there was a shortage of what's the stuff they put in the helium for a while, which was a problem.
I don't
too, but go
remember
ahead.
that.
Yeah, it's a couple years ago.
Anyway, some economists have talked about how we're in this K-shaped economy and that brands are trading on a narrow pool of shoppers for discretionary spending. When you hear about the affordability factor, and I do believe Trump is moving the economy in the right direction, seems as though people are really going to start feeling that when they have their tax returns this year. So in about 2 months or so. But right now, people still might be feeling that squeeze, right? And a lot of that's from the inflation under the Biden administration. But I have to keep wondering, is this going to be the trend that we see where stores are downsizing or they're just closing altogether? Are malls, are those going to be a thing? Or people really are just going to Amazon and online shopping because it's just easier? Now, I did find some guy talking about this. I'll be honest with you. I don't know who this is, but I thought he made an interesting point. Listen.
There will never be stores again. And now Amazon opens stores and Rent the Runway opens stores. And turns out the extremes are not great places. You know, it's not the death, it's live alongside. They become different animals. They become different reasons. We go to shops not to get the best deal. You go to websites to get the best deal. You go to shops because it's fun. You go to shops to try stuff on. You go to shops because it's an activity, because our hunter-gatherer instincts, we like foraging and looking for things. It's entertainment. We enjoy the service aspect, you know? It's with our friends. Sometimes it's not about the shops at all.
Or you're like me and you just wait way too long and nothing will ship in time, and then you're forced to go to a store.
I think he's right. I mean, but it will create an overall downsizing of brick and mortar. I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about that. I don't think. I mean, the downward pressure has to be on them, because if you can sell something online, you don't have any of that overhead. It's just so much cheaper.
Right.
So, but I do think there's a part of the American public that still needs to go lay hands on items and try them on, and it's not going to go away.
No, it
but
will
it's
never
certainly
cease
gonna
to
diminish.
exist. But I think we will continue to see this trend of more and more stores closing, or the big stores like a Macy's. They'll be there, but they're only going to be in certain cities to actually go in person.
Maybe.
A lot of it will just move to online.
I really think that the death of malls, it's really a combination of things. Safety, it plays a role in that.
Okay, we have issues at the Galleria, but how many other malls? You have the Chesterfield Mall, which obviously is demoed. You have the West County Mall, which, yes, in all fairness, we have had a couple of incidents. The Galleria is really the only one, but I mean, the Galleria is the only one where you've heard multiple incidents.
The one up
I don't
there
know
off
that safety is
but
really the big issue. I think it's that people are moving to online shopping.
I don't know, maybe.
And the
I
outlet
think
mall
it's
really is what, don't you think, in part shut down the Chesterfield Mall?
I think it's a combination. And I think the people at the West County Mall need to be very careful, or they're going to end up in the same situation the Chesterfield Mall was in. I think that people don't go as much. The brick and mortar stores that are there trying to make a living don't have as much foot traffic. They're not making enough money to justify the overhead, and they shut down. And maybe they go open an online spot somewhere, or they go to a strip shopping center in the Chesterfield Valley somewhere. I just think it's a combination of things.
Everyone says, shop local. And I want to do that. But there is something to be said for the convenience of being able to not only have something arrive at your doorstep, but then also when you need to return something. It's irritating when you need to return something and then you have to drive 30 minutes just to drop it off at the store, park outside the mall, walk 10 minutes to the actual store inside the mall.
Why would you have to return it if you got to go there and try it on to begin with?
That just happens. Come on now. Your wife.
Come on.
You're telling me your wife doesn't buy something, try it on, and
No.
a week later decide that she doesn't really like it and returns it?
I don't remember that specifically. What she would do is drive and return it if I bought it for her.
Well, also that. Men can relate to that.
I'm just saying. If I buy her, I quit trying to buy her clothing many years ago. I learned my lesson. I just give her a gift card or something if it's to her favorite store, and then she can pick what she wants.
I'm surprised. Diana's saying safety for me. I sit online and order. Wait, no, safety to me. I order online hardly ever. So I guess Diana, you're saying that safety is the reason for. I'm not worried about that. When I go to the West County Mall, I have my head on a swivel always when I'm in a crowd, but I'm not feeling like I'm going to get shot. So it's not, or robbed.
The younger generation are loving malls right now, though. Like my daughter's age.
I mean, like that's because when I was
she wants
younger,
to go to the mall. Like
that was the social activity.
Yeah.
Is you would go to the mall on a
Right.
Friday night, and then they had the movie theater connected.
Yeah.
So that was like the highlight of the weekend when I was growing up, and then it kind of became obsolete. So you're saying there was a resurgence of
Yes.
that.
She's asked multiple times if her and her friends can go up to the mall, and we're like, maybe when you're a little bit older. I'm not about ready to drop you off at West
South County? Or
no,
West
West
South County, by the way,
it's dead.
It's
Is
dead.
it dead?
They're
It's pretty
talking
much.
about changing that into a
Crestview,
youth sports
dead.
complex. The Chesterfield Mall, before it got demolished, was like half pickleball courts. Remember that?
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. You walk into some of these malls and it's awkward. It's this hodgepodge of stores that make no sense, that really shouldn't even have a store, like the Mid Rivers Mall. You walk in there and there's just really random, like an insurance company will have a store now in the mall next to the clothing store. And
Probably
it just
'cause the
feels
rent's so
really,
cheap.
well, yeah, and it
Right.
just feels really
For real.
weird. I remember as a kid that
Yeah.
feeling of going around Christmas time and all the stores, and there was just so much excitement with that. And it's just such a different feeling now. And malls are going to struggle. And maybe like you said, Ethan, there will be some sort of revival of them. But for now, they're becoming a thing of the past, at least in the older generations.
Yeah, Tommy agrees with me that the crime is safety is one of the biggest considerations. Do I want to take my family up there? Do I want to let my kid go up there and hang out? Somebody just texted on the text line there, 314-241-9797. It's not pleasant at the mall anymore. Too many unruly kids, not safe.
Well, there are unruly kids
The kid
there.
problem's been going on for a long time. We were at West County Mall a couple, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago with our grandchildren in the food area. And all of a sudden, two groups of teenagers started to get into it. And I mean, we grabbed the kids, tossed them in the stroller, and got the hell out of Dodge, because you just never know. There wasn't a security person in sight when that happened. And I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to be a statistic. We just threw the kids in the car or in the stroller, grabbed their food, and took it to go because we weren't going to risk it. And people don't want to feel like that. So
Okay, that's interesting when you talk about it like that.
They have to address those issues.
So it's on the mall then that they need to be the ones hiring police, because we had this incident we were talking about last week, Mark, where there was a woman who was she carjacked, or the guy tried to carjack her in the parking lot at the West County Mall, and she was saying police needed to step up their enforcement. They said, look, we have two people who go there and drive around the mall. It's on the mall. If they want to make people feel safer, they need to fork over the money to do it. Why would that be the city's responsibility to allocate resources when a lot of those departments are already short-staffed?
Well, their argument would be the city gets a lot of tax revenue from the mall, and they need to be over there making sure that it's secure. And they do. They have two officers who patrol the mall, but they can't.
It needs then the
two
difference
people
need to
is
be
not
made up by the
Thank
security
you.
for the mall.
Thank
It's not the entire police force that needs to be responsible for driving around the West County Mall to make sure some idiot's not trying to carjack someone.
It's a self-defeating cycle because fewer people are going to the mall's making less money, they get less revenue from rent because stores are leaving, and then they have the added pressure of needing to spend more money on security, and then they don't do it because they don't have the money to do it, and then there are more incidents, and the perception is it's not safe, and then fewer people come, and it's just a vicious cycle, and they've got to get ahead of it, right? They have to, because there have been kids hanging out at malls for years. Remember Fast Times at Ridgemont High? I mean, come on, it's been going on forever.
Heard of that? Couldn't tell you anything more about it. I know. Sorry to disappoint.
The mall was the place to be.
Oh, as a kid, that was like if you were cool, you went to the mall on a Friday.
But you also didn't worry about dropping your kids off at the mall back then, which is weird. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in just a minute. Next hour, we'll talk to our friend John Lamping, former Missouri senator, about this, among other things, the tax cut proposal for the state income tax. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We look good on the roads at this hour. We've got really light traffic. It's only 14 degrees out there. I'm going to mention some road work today that starts at 7 o'clock this morning. Now, this is in St. Louis County, 7 a.m. until 3 p.m. on Manchester. Crews will close one eastbound left lane between Barrett Station Road and DePere Road. So just a little bit of late morning to midday road work. Again, that's Manchester. An eastbound left lane closed between Barrett Station Road and DePere Road, 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., just before rush hour tonight. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Yeah, I was just having a conversation with someone the other day about their basement and whether they're going to refinish it or remodel it, but they'd had a few water problems down there and they were worried about it. I'm like, listen, I get it. Once you've invested all that money, what's it cost? $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 probably to finish a basement these days in some cases, unless you're a complete do-it-yourselfer. You can't risk, once all that wood and drywall and everything's put in, a leaky basement. You just can't put up with that. You need to call my friend Matt Hayes in advance and let him take care of that for you at Home Shield Foundation Repairs. 314-271-9900. That's 271-9900. The person that shows up is probably going to be Matt or one of his trusted employees who can walk into your basement and say, listen, here's what's going on. Here's the fix. I'm not trying to beat you up for something you don't need. Maybe you need drain tiles and a sump pump. Maybe you already have a sump pump and it's just not adequate. Maybe you have a crack in the wall, and once we get that sealed up, you don't have that problem anymore. And when Matt and his crews are done, you get a lifetime warranty. So call him today. Take the guesswork out of it. Depend on somebody you can trust, and that is Matt Hayes with Home Shield Foundation Repairs. 314-271-9900. Tell him Mark told you to call, or go online to homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Hey, it's your main man, Jimmy Fallon, and I am headed your way. Saturday, January 24th at the Factory in Chesterfield. We are defunding the joke police. So grab your tickets at 971fmtalk.com/events, and I will see you in the loo.
Ready for instant curb appeal that comes with a 25-year transferable warranty? Call Rhino Shield today. We do brick, block, stucco, asbestos, aluminum, steel, cedar, and more. Over the past 20 years, we've done thousands of homes, businesses, churches, schools, condos, parking garages, large metal buildings, and strip malls, from Champaign to the Lake of the Ozarks. We do flat and sloped metal roofs to extend their lives too. Proud to be veteran-owned and manufactured in the good old USA, so we're tariff-free. We're exceeding expectations every day. Evaluations are free. A+ rated with the BBB and a lot of 5-star Google reviews. Call 877-25-RHINO, 877-25-RHINO, or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't pay, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's best eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Disturbing things happening around the country. Do you see the case in Indiana where an Indiana judge and his wife were in their home on Sunday and somebody started shooting into their house and they were both wounded, not life-threatening apparently. They're both in stable condition. At last check, the shooter is still at large and they put out an alert to judges statewide that, to be on the lookout. Maybe this is a case of He handed down a decision that he's a Superior Court judge. So maybe he handed down a decision and somebody didn't like it and their family members or whatever came for revenge. I mean, that is some frightening stuff there. Kim, let's get back to the mall statement, the mall issue for just a minute. Several people on the text line had texted in that, we have the same problems today, but kids are not going to stores, not learning how to return things. I have two 29-year-olds, and one of them, they wouldn't return something. They just throw it in the closet and forget about it.
I've heard of people
So
doing
I don't
that.
know. Really?
Yeah, more so probably because of laziness where you just don't feel like making the trip back because it might be an hour out of your day, 20 minutes to drive there, 20 minutes to go into the mall, and then 20 minutes to drive home.
Yeah, Matthew's also saying he sees a lot of DePere police when he's at the mall. So I just think they need to have a constant presence in the parking garage and issues like that. But when you do go shopping, and Kim, I think this is just a fascinating concept here. Yesterday was Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and I saw these posts online about remember Dr. King, and before you post anything, you should hold it up against what Dr. King believed in. And I'm thinking to myself, Dr. King wanted equality. He never preached equity. I think like John F. Kennedy, his politics might be very different today unless he's just a victim of the race baiters like Al Sharpton and the others. He was a visionary. He saw what it was going to take to lead his people out of the civil rights into better civil rights and equality, and he wasn't under the false belief that they were somehow going to get equity. He wanted people treated equally, and the guy had a lot of warts. I understand that he had some personal flaws, but that doesn't mean you can't honor what kind of leader he was and what he believed in. He also believed you should judge somebody by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. Today's Democratic Party does not believe that. Today's Democratic Party wants people to be rewarded because of the color of their skin, and it has nothing to do with the content of their character. I think he would be, if he woke up today, it was back here today suddenly, I think he would be shocked by what the mantra has become of the left wing of this country. And very simply, I'm going to play a statement for you, and you tell me how this flies in today's society, Kim. If you were to go on this radio station and say something similar to this, tell me how people would perceive that. Go to cut 15, former First Lady Michelle Obama.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like, and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. Right. I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. What does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right. And I think if you have the money to buy Chanel, mm-hmm. then you have the money to buy everybody. Right. And so let us be mindful I think would be my advice.
Or maybe you need to worry about who's coming out of your closet. I'm dead. Thought crossed my mind when she said that.
Well, I mean, that's like me coming on here and saying, whenever I buy my clothes, if I find out it's a white designer, I tend to buy them more often. I want to support the white designers. Can you imagine the hate I would get from that?
Thank you. But it's perfectly fine for Michelle Obama to say that, and without blinking an eye. Now she tries to couch it in, well, if I like what they're doing and I find out they're a person of color, I'm definitely going to buy their clothing.
Even if I said the exact same thing and instead of said black or color, said white.
I know. I was just, when I heard that, I'm like, she is so out of touch with reality. And part of, I don't know if that's her that's her personality. That's her mantra. Or if she's now so rich because they've got mansions on the, in Martha's Vineyard and all these other places, that she's just out of touch with reality. I'm assuming if you're buying your clothes from a designer, that's part of the problem to begin with. But now she's picking and choosing winners and losers based on their race. It's what it sounds to me like. Unbelievable. Thank you, Michelle Obama, for enlightening us there. Yes. All right, coming up, we'll get to our friend John Lamping, a former Missouri senator. What do you think the sales tax rate in the state will have to be if they do away with the income tax? We're going to talk about that and much more at the bottom of the hour. Stay tuned.
When storm damage strikes or it's just time for a new roof, call my friend Cornelius at C. Marion Roofing. This is Ryan Wiggins. I've used him multiple times for roofs and bathrooms. He's licensed and insured for both homes and businesses. Start to finish, he'll handle your insurance claim and get you the job done right, fast, reliable, and with quality you can count on. I can testify to that. Call C. Marion Roofing today, 314-399-2140. That's 314-399-2140. Or type in C. Marion Roofing for all your projects.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
He's Donald Trump's #1 enemy in Congress, Chicago politician Dick Durbin. Now, Durbin has a new scheme. He's doing the dirty work to benefit corporate megastores. Durbin's bill could cut corners on your credit card security, putting your personal data at risk. Big chain retailers and warehouse stores want to inflate their profits, and liberal Dick Durbin would help them do it. Tell senators, say no to the megastores and Dick Durbin. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
At Grasser Home Services, we're looking for happy plumbers to join our team. Plumbers who are polite, honest, and do the job right.
And love dogs. They must love dogs.
Plumbers who treat customers' homes with respect, care about the details, and show up on time.
Know a happy plumber who's great with dogs?
Have them call Grasser Home Services.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
1 in 4 Americans today are living with a disability. I'm one of them. People with disabilities are extremely talented, resilient problem solvers that have so much to offer. And we've got a trusted ally on our side, an organization we can rely on, Easter Seals. Easter Seals is leading the way to full equity, inclusion, and access to healthcare, employment, and education for people with disabilities, families, and communities. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours.
Learn more and get involved at EasterSeals.com.
Annie Fry here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They are the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
At Donors Choose, we want students and teachers to have the tools they need for a great education. And now, more than ever, they need your support. Learn more at donorschoose.org.
Donors Choose. Support a classroom.
Build a future. KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
This has never happened.
I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. An American House Speaker addresses the British Parliament.
It is an objective and obvious truth that a strong America is good for the entire world.
Speaker Mike Johnson.
And a strong UK is as well.
Speaker Mike Johnson, a few hours ago in London.
I told the president that I felt that my mission here today was to encourage our friends and help to calm the waters, so to speak, and I hope to do so.
As some European allies consider retaliation to President Trump imposing tariffs for opposing his push to take control of Greenland. Early this morning, he posted an AI image on Truth Social of himself planting an American flag there with a sign reading Greenland, U.S. territory established 2026. Well, for now, it's actually part of Denmark, a NATO ally that insists Greenland's not for sale. In another Trump post, the president wrote he had a good discussion with NATO's leader and he'll attend a meeting at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. U.S. Ambassador to NATO Matt Whitaker tells Fox,
nobody has strengthened NATO more than President Trump. Nobody has brought an energy and the necessary capabilities to the table.
In another Truth post, President Trump called the anti-ICE protesters inside a Minnesota church Sunday troublemakers who should be thrown in jail or out of the U.S. Fox's Doug Luzader reports.
Minnesota's attorney general says protesters who stormed that church did not violate what's called the Federal FACE Act, but the Justice Department may not see it that way.
What you saw there was anti-Christian, anti-law enforcement rioters.
Deputy U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche telling Fox this is a civil rights investigation. They're celebrating in Indiana a college football national championship led by their Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
He's going to take off and run. Mendoza weaves his way first.
Fernando Mendoza's fourth quarter touchdown ended up the game winner on ESPN. Indiana beat Miami 27-21. The Hoosiers, who've never had much football success, complete a perfect 16-0 season. America's listening to Fox News.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, January 20th. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Bundle up as you're heading out the door this morning at 6:03, sitting at 9 degrees in St. Louis. Making headlines, and we're starting in the Metro East, where a man is dead after a shooting in Belleville. Investigators were called to the 600 block of State Street around 8:30 last night for shots fired. A female was taken into custody. Now, neither the female's age nor the victim's ages were revealed. Police do say the shooting was an isolated incident involving family members. A popular restaurant in Plaza Frontenac is closing. Canyon Cafe, known for its Southwest cuisine, has been inside the mall for more than a decade. Its last day open will be Sunday, January 25th. Canyon Cafe's closure follows several other closures here in the St. Louis Metro, including Steve's Hot Dogs, Super Smokers Barbecue, and Robust Bistro and Wine Bar. The fight over abortion access in Missouri enters its second week in court. Planned Parenthood, as you might remember, sued the state after Amendment 3 passed in 2024 to give unrestricted access to abortion services. Well, the state argues the risk for complications justifies tighter restrictions. Missourians will be voting this year on Amendment 3 that will ban abortion with exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of a mother. In sports, for the first time ever, Indiana Hoosiers are national champs when undefeated. They beat Miami yesterday 27-21. Here's also some cool news. SLU basketball is in the AP's top 25 for the first time in 5 years. Billikens on an 11-game winning streak tonight, facing Duquesne at 6 o'clock. Mizzou faces Georgia at 8. Illinois plays Maryland tomorrow. And Blues on the road tonight, playing the Jets at 7. Coming up on 6:05, 9 degrees right now. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We are off to a really good traffic start. Pretty quiet out there in general, and that's both the Missouri and Illinois sides. So either way, things are looking good. Now, tonight, we've got some serious road work scheduled on 70 in St. Charles County. It's ongoing, but 8 p.m. until 6 a.m., they'll have one eastbound and one westbound lane closed between Forestal and Wentzville Parkway. Again, that's overnight tonight, starting at 8 p.m. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No question that car seat's going to be cold this morning. We are cold really all day, though. Temperatures compared to yesterday slightly better for a couple of hours this afternoon. Sunny skies and 36. Very windy tonight with some clouds around 32. Wednesday, sunny, breezy and 44. Thursday, sunny and 37. A shot at some light, dry snow Friday night, Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
All right, 9 degrees right now. 6:06 is the time. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show on 97.1 FM Talk. Take us with you anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
All right, good morning to you. Welcome back into the show. It is a Tuesday morning, the 20th day of January. I'm Marc Cox. So we got Kim St. Onge in here and Ethan Bright and Sue Thomas along with all of your traffic in just a few minutes. Hopefully, if you're listening to the sound of our voice, you did not get shaken out of bed at some point this morning because of the earthquake that happened up northeast of Litchfield early this morning.
It had to be small, right?
With
really
3.5
small?
on the Richter scale. So apparently there are reports so far in the local media of people around O'Fallon and other places, O'Fallon, Illinois, feeling this morning. No reports of damage so far, but a 3.5 magnitude earthquake hit somewhere just to the northeast of Litchfield sometime overnight. So I don't know. It didn't cross the river, clearly. I remember when this happened back in the 90s when I was anchoring at Channel 4, and it happened over on the it was actually a bigger earthquake. It happened somewhere almost to the Indiana border, and we started getting reports. People's china fell off their shelves, and we started getting phone calls into the newsroom as the tremors worked their way west. And a lot of people reported feeling that one. I don't know how many people felt the one overnight, but just so you know, that apparently is what happened. The early this morning, somewhere in the central part of Illinois. So that's part of what's going on. We're also keeping an eye on, of course, the weather that's coming in. It's Tuesday. By Friday or Saturday, there could be a pretty serious storm system that they think is going to pass just to our south. We'll see. We'll see about that. All I know is that it's colder than blue blazes out there this morning, and you're going to want to either start the car or bundle up before you head outside. Coming up, we'll get to our friend Todd Piro, host of a Fox and Friend First at about 7:20, and Mark Walters is going to join us this morning for 2A Tuesday. Good to get him in here. We were talking about this earlier. There's been a change by the DOJ on whether or not you can mail a firearm. Now, dealers have always been able to utilize the mail between dealers, but if you owned a firearm and you wanted to mail it, let's say to a northern state because you're going up there to go hunting or something, the U.S. The Postal Service would not do it. And now the DOJ has ruled that they have to. So we're going to talk to Mark Walters about the implications of that coming up about 7:35 this morning. We'll get to all that. Remember, we have the text line open, 314-241-9797. You can text us your thoughts on whatever it is we happen to be talking about. Do you think the U.S. is going to invade Greenland? No, they're not. I'll break that down for you. No, they're not. But Donald Trump does have him on the run, and he's getting ready to go to Davos to the World Economic Forum, where all of the leading Democrats and socialists of the world gather to plot their world takeover, their world domination. It's a good thing that Trump's going there because he'll set them back on their heels a little bit. They're over there talking about controlling the world. And the head of BlackRock is now the co-chair of the World Economic Forum, in case you didn't know that.
Oh, great.
Is anybody surprised that the head of BlackRock is now the co-chair of the Davos World Economic Forum? No. Over there pushing EVs and all kinds of stuff that they'd like to do. And all that's on hold primarily because we voted in some common sense to Washington, D.C. And it's one reason they all hate him, because he has slowed down their effort to impose their radical left views on the entire globe. They're kind of back on their heels a little bit, seeing how capitalism works, for sure. Right now, let's get to our top stories. Ethan, please hang on.
The Marc Cox Shortlist.
I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protests started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization.
Yeah, that's Don's story, and he's sticking to it. Don says, "Hey, listen, I'm just there. I'm just covering. I don't know anything about this. Don Lemon kind of exposed himself the other day. He said he was traveling to Minneapolis to work with some of these protesters so you truly understand what's at stake. So he's working with this guy, and the guy goes, hey, I want to go raid a church. And Don's like, let's go. And then he goes inside and starts grilling the pastor, and he may end up facing charges from the Department of Justice.
But at some point, Sean, you and I both know the president very well. He's going to lose patience. And the Ayatollah is going to be sent to what, I guess, receive his 77 virgins, if that's really a thing.
It's 72, but maybe there's more for Ayatollahs that I don't know about.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Iranian situation this morning. But the Ayatollah is on the move, and you got to think his whereabouts are being tracked very carefully by the U.S. intelligence community.
Second reporting, we're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here honking.
No, we're pressed.
That vehicle right there is honking and impeding our investigations.
Yeah, while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender, the people of Minnesota need to wake the hell up. They're blocking ICE from removing a sex offender, and they're more worried about federal agents than they are criminals.
I want to get back to this because none of this makes sense. The campus police. I wouldn't trust anything that Governor Cox was overseeing, and he is the governor of Utah. I don't believe that there's any independence out there. But anyway, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah, let's be very clear on that, Steve Bannon, that I am not related to Governor Cox of Utah. Can we just clear that up real quick? That was Steve Bannon talking about the fact that he's got serious questions about the Charlie Kirk case, Kim. He doesn't trust what the prosecutors up there are telling him.
Has he been talking to Candace Owens?
I don't know. But I want to play the full bite here so you can hear it. Go to cut 18, please.
I want to get back to this because none of this makes sense. The campus police. I wouldn't trust anything that Governor Cox was overseeing, and he is the governor of Utah. I don't believe that there's any independence out there. But anyway, that's a topic for another day. There's so much. It's just this thing is so confusing. I think we need a better. And they say, well, it's a murder trial. You're not supposed to see it. Any other murder trial, you're getting leaks all the time.
Well, I'd love to see all the evidence released. I'd love to see all the evidence released. I'd love to see if there's more video. I'd love to see that released. I'd love to see medical records released for regarding Charlie.
Like an autopsy.
All of it, just all of it.
Yeah, this
ballistics, a autopsy, ballistic.
I don't know if that's likely to happen or not, given the fact that they are going to trial. I mean, some of that, I understand the desire to hear some of it, and Bannon's right. In a lot of cases, some of that stuff leaks out. But I don't know in this case what some of the specifics are. And I don't know if Bannon's saying he doesn't believe that the guy they've got in custody isn't the shooter. I don't think he's saying that he doesn't believe that guy's not the shooter. He's just questioning the way this has been handled because this governor out there is sort of a Mitt Romney clone in a lot of ways.
A lot more will come out as this unfolds, and Erica Kirk is demanding a speedy trial.
Right.
Yeah, we won't learn everything. And we have to remember that it's so easy to look at a situation like the Charlie Kirk assassination because we all, unfortunately, many of us watched it play out on social media. We think we know everything. There is so much information that we don't know that prosecutors would never, ever reveal because it could jeopardize the case. So we're taking the few puzzle pieces we have and we're trying to put them all together and say that we have the ultimate picture of what this case looks like, and we don't.
Well, if it gets down to having to trust that governor out there, I wouldn't trust him any more than I'd trust Pierre Delecto. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes. I just wanted to play that for you because Bannon brought it up over the weekend. Thought that was interesting. Back to Davos. The World Economic Forum is underway. The president is about to, I may have taken off already to travel over there. And he was at the college football championship game last night, got a huge round of applause in the middle of the national anthem when the camera cut away to the president and his grandchildren and his children up in the booth. And he's now, I believe, on his way to Davos. And I'll let you hear what he had to say about that when we come back.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We just had a report of an accident north Lindbergh at Missouri Bottom Road. So take care through there. But on the interstates, we are looking good, and that's throughout the area, both the Missouri and Illinois side. Starting at 9 o'clock this morning on 70 in St. Charles County, crews are planning to close one lane on Route W right there at Forestdale, and they're going to have flaggers out directing traffic through that construction zone. Again, that will be 9 o'clock this morning until 3 this afternoon. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
There's nothing you love more this morning than your furnace. That furnace that's keeping the house warm, staving off the cold, even if you are in a dispute with your spouse over how warm or cold it actually ought to be in the house. You need to be in somebody's comfort zone. Let's put it that way. And my friends at Air Comfort Service are there for you. Here is their number in case you have an emergency, because they do 24/7 emergency service. 314-513-0091. When you call that number, somebody's going to answer. They're going to get somebody dispatched so that you're not absolutely freezing when it is 11 or 12 degrees outside. Yeah, it's going to warm up in the 30s. That's still not good enough. So my friends at Air Comfort are there for you. They're there if you need a service call. They're there if you need a second opinion. And even if you're running a commercial shop and your business air conditioner or furnace is not working, Air Comfort is always there for you as well. They can handle it all. And they're also handing out a free humidifier right now if you get a new system. So be sure and ask them about that when you call. You will love working with my friends at Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Online, it's aircomfortservice.com.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Every year, almost 30,000 babies in America are born with birth injuries. It's every parent's worst nightmare. If your child suffered a birth injury, please call our firm to find out if we can help.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
At Graybar, we know your time is money. That's why our services go beyond parts and products. With kitting, pre-assembly, wire carts, and Graybar smart reels that keep you moving. We stage materials and manage logistics so you can spend less time sorting and more time installing. And with locations nationwide, we deliver when and where you need it, working to make your job easier every step of the way. Yep, Graybar does that.
Wondering if dangerous contaminants are in your home's water? Get Leaf Home Water Solutions today. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make it safer and healthier. Leaf Home Water Solutions is offering a free in-home water test. Just visit leafhome.com/free to schedule yours. With results from their advanced digital testing, Leaf Home Water Solutions can design a whole home system and expertly install it in as little as 1 day. With Leaf Home Water Solutions, you can feel confident that each drop of water from every tap and appliance is cleaner and safer for you and your family. We can't live without water, but we can take actions today to make our family's water safer with Leaf Home Water Solutions. Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, I think I have a lot of messages to tell us, but the primary message is how well the United States is doing. And I say it all the time. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country, and now we have the hottest country in the world. I mean,
Yeah, that was the president when asked yesterday, what message are you going to be taking to Davos? To this bunch of left-wing screaming lunatics who loved sleepy Joe Biden because Joe Biden wasn't running anything. They could get away with whatever they wanted to, and their whole one world order view of what's going on. And now the guy in charge of it, one of the co-chair of the World Economic Forum this year, is the guy that runs BlackRock, Larry Fink. And Larry's like, well, you know, we are a group of elites, but we have to hone our message to make sure that the people who will never be here are represented. This is the garbage of the socialist elite. Just so you know. Now, I don't know if Fink is a socialist, but he's filthy rich, and he runs BlackRock, which has tried to use its influence to influence political causes in the United States of America. Listen to him.
Davos is an elite gathering trying to shape a world that belongs to everyone. That is why this year's theme is the spirit of dialogue, because dialogue is the only way a room like this can earn the legitimacy to shape ideas for people who aren't in the room.
What does that even mean? We need dialogue. So in other words, once we decide how we're going to completely control your life, we're going to inform you of it. Is that we're going to have a dialogue? Here's what we, the elites, have decided this week in Davos. Now we need to have a dialogue with you so you lesser human beings can understand what we're going to inflict on you. This is the group that wanted the Paris Climate Accords, that pushed all of that push EV mandates on us.
It reminds me of Nancy Pelosi saying we have to vote on the bill so you can see what's in it. It's like, we're going to tell you what we're enforcing on you after we discuss it and make a decision for you. We're going to let you know.
Well, be that much happier that you have somebody like Donald Trump in charge, right? He's an in-your-face capitalist. He's shown what the United States economy can do with a 4.4% GDP, right? And if you can get the Fed to cooperate, it's going to be even better than that. You should have heard Gretchen Whitmer. Remember Gretchen Whitmer? Gretchen Whitmer is the governor of Michigan. And Gretchen Whitmer she's been all in on EV cars. She wants them sooner rather than later. Even she's been set back on her heels a little bit by realizing, by forcing those mandates down the throats of the automobile dealerships who are mostly based in Michigan, she's kind of admitting here that she hurt their business. She wants EV mandates But apparently they've all realized that, well, people have range anxiety and we need to work on that.
Chaos is really bad for business. And as you talk about, a mine is a 30, 40-year proposition. Same is true for manufacturing. We've seen these long-term investments are now being paused because we have a chaotic policy terrain in the United States coming out of D.C. To Stella's point, one of the things about the charging and the advancements that are happening when we think about range anxiety, which is the phrase that we use in the States, is there's no question that the advancements are happening, which is precisely why we've got to continue to move forward on EV production in the United States and with the auto industry in the U.S.
We have to continue to move forward, even though the people that run the lots will tell you that they're lot logs.
Well, there's a lot more.
Unless you run a Tesla dealership where that's all you sell and people are coming to the lot because that's what they want. At a Ford dealership or a Ram dealership, that's not what people want.
There's a lot of other reasons why I wouldn't want one of those cars more than I probably would have range anxiety. I don't want to sit there for 30, 45 minutes at some station to try to charge my car up on I'm the kind of person who doesn't even want to go to the bathroom because I just want to get there.
The thing about the difference between how Europeans drive and how Americans drive.
Well, first of all, they walk a lot more places.
We drive vast different distances, and in Europe they really don't do that all that much. Plus, they're all socialist democracies, European socialist democracies. That's what they are. So it's government, top-down government control of everything, and all they did was force, which they've tried to do in the United States. They tried to do it in St. Louis County. Remember that when they tried to force any company that was going to resurface its lot had to install an EV charging system when they did, like any business, and the businesses raised hell about that. And eventually they backed off from that a little bit. But in Europe, that's what they've done. They forced all of these companies to install and private businesses to install charging stations so that if you have an EV, it's easier to find somewhere to plug it in. It's not, and for all I know, it's free. Probably not, but could be free in Europe. That's not going to happen in the United States. It's going to have to be driven by demand. And I'm going to visit Montana coming up. I got a trip planned to Montana, and you could never drive an EV any distance in Montana. You could go 5 or 6 or 7 hours and not see a gas station sometimes, depending on what road you're on. And getting EV charging stations up there is going to be a process, and it's going to have to be economical. It's going to have to make sense for people installing them. It can't be a government down mandate, which is what Whitmer and all of these pointy-headed idiots in Davos would love to force on their worldview on the world, along with Larry Fink of BlackRock. So thank God Donald Trump's going to go over there and drop some wisdom on them for sure. I'm glad he's going. Coming up, we'll get to former Senator John Lamping. Straight ahead. Stay tuned. Hey, celebrate the new year with our friends from Zero Res. Carpet, tiles, upholstery, hard surfaces, basically everything in your home can be Zero Resified. So it's time to call the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Bring in the new year with 3 rooms of carpet cleaned at just $119, plus a free hallway and 15% off regularly priced services when you mention 97.1 FM Talk. 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com.
Step outside and fall in love with your backyard again. From inviting porch overhangs to durable composite decks and cozy screen rooms, Lakeside Renovation and Design creates stunning outdoor living spaces designed for relaxation, entertaining, and making memories. With expert craftsmanship and top-quality materials, your new outdoor oasis will be perfect for every season. Call Lakeside Renovation and Design today or visit lakesiderd.com to get started. Let's turn your backyard into the retreat you've always dreamed of.
All right, let's talk about interest rates for just a minute. We know that they are dropping. We wish they would drop a lot faster. But in the meantime, you have to depend on your friends at Golden Oak, who are always out in front of the curve on this. How about 4.5%? How about a 15-year fixed mortgage at 4.5%? Maybe you're at a point in your life where, hey, you're ready to downsize a little bit. You're getting ready to move. This is beautiful for you. Maybe you've been in your house for a long time. You got a bunch of equity built up in there, but you've been putting some bills on a credit card and the interest rate's in 30-40%, maybe higher. Don't do that. Call Golden Oak. Let them take care of it, and they'll get you covered. 314-567-GOLD. GoldenOakLending.com is the address you go to. Just remember that is a 5.442 APR, 15-year FHA loan with 20% equity and qualified credit. Their NMLS number is 114937.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. 9 degrees now at 6:30. A write-in candidate has entered the race for Manchester alderman. Bill Parmentier says he threw his name in the hat after it was uncovered that the only other candidate running for Ward 1, Jessica Green, is accused of defrauding the local Boy Scouts of America troop. Well, that's nice. The Manchester election coming up on April 7th. Self-driving semi-trucks could be coming to Missouri, a bill making its way through the legislature that would regulate self-driving technology, getting support from disability advocates. A firefighter argued these self-driving cars have a history of disrupting emergency vehicles. One argument from an attorney relates to who you could even sue if the car crashed into you, since the bill considers the driver hardware. In sports, for the first time ever, Indiana Hoosiers national champs after beating Miami 27-21. SLU basketball in the AP's top 25 for the first time in 5 years. They'll be facing Duquesne at 6 o'clock tonight. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, good morning to you. We have looked pretty good on the roads this morning, and that continues to be the case. But we are starting to see some of the usual volume, which means for northbound 55 drivers, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown around Bayless headed into the work zone there. And northbound 270, Doherty Ferry up through Manchester. Again, just moderate volume. We did have that reported accident north Lindbergh at Missouri Bottom, so take care through there. And we look fine so far on the Illinois side in general at this hour. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyHomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
Time for me to brag about my friends out at Shelton Automotive. They are out near Warrenton, and the reason I'm telling you about it is I drive a diesel truck. If you work for a living, if you tow things, if you prefer the fuel efficiency and the power of a diesel engine, you got to have somewhere to get it worked on, and you're not going to find a better place than my friends at Shelton Automotive. Call them at 314-202 4060. That's 314-202-4060. My friend Grant tells me they can get you in and get the work done, whether it's a Cummins, a Duramax, a Power Stroke engine. It doesn't matter. If you've tried to get your diesel serviced at some of these dealerships, there's a backup. They have a limited number of technicians who work on them, and sometimes it takes you a couple of months to get your car in and get your truck in and get it taken care of. Not at Shelton Automotive. Here's the other great thing they do. They have a great inventory of work trucks, if that's what you're looking for. They also sell medium and light duty diesel trucks that you can find. So reach out to Shelton Automotive. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about him. Go to 314, call them at 314-202-4060. They're out off Spady Lane in Warrenton, Missouri, or you can check them out online anytime at sheltonautogroup.com.
I do appreciate all the referrals that we receive daily. It is phenomenal. I've said it. I can't say it enough how much I do appreciate the referrals. With that being said, if you do refer me, you're in great hands. I will not sell homeowners that work hard for their money, just like myself, crap that they do not need. But if you want good quality, man, you can't even say cheap anymore. I don't think I can even say cheap you can't even go by price. Okay, that's another commercial. Call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Remember, it's the only number, Missouri and Illinois, 314 293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
According to MasterCard, nearly half of small businesses have been a victim of a cyber attack. As cybercrime escalates, ThrottleNet is calling on businesses to strengthen their security posture by taking a free online IT security audit right from your desk. This 3-minute online assessment provides an immediate score to see security gaps and vulnerabilities in your network. For 26 years, ThrottleNet has supported your business IT everything right here in St. Louis. In fact, no client of ThrottleNet has ever paid a ransom. So visit throttlenet.com/971 to take the free assessment today.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
In this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. People keep looking to government for the answer. Government's the problem. Government would shut the doors and sneak away for about 3 weeks. We'd never miss them.
Stop thinking about what I want, what he wants, what your parents want. What do you want?
That's what we all want. John Lamping, welcome back into the program. How are you?
I'm doing great, Mark. I think I got a little bit of football hangover after this weekend.
Were you rooting for Indiana?
Yeah, I was actually. I have no vested, my sister went to Indiana, but it was just nice to see them go from 0-9 in the Big Ten 5 years ago to 16-0 this year. That was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. I'd say most of America was probably rooting for Indiana in that, unless you were a butthurt Alabama fan or somebody that got beaten by them, or you went to school at the University of Miami. I think it would have to be one of those two categories to have been rooting against Fernando Mendoza. The kid got beat up last night and still dove for a touchdown, which saved the game for him for sure. That was pretty awesome. I went to the Denver Broncos game Saturday out in Mile High, and that was a heck of a game too, John.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Look at you. You're a world traveler.
I got a last second offer for a free ticket. All I had to do was fly out there. It was an easy choice. I'll have to say for sure. Great. I've been watching. We were expecting the Democrats to throw a little bit of a fit in the Missouri legislature to try to slow things down a little bit. They've already tried to filibuster on some of the governor's appointments down there. You think this continues through the legislative term?
We completely expect it. To filibuster the governor's appointments on a Thursday in January is like an old tried and true tradition. For people that don't know, the legislature convenes on Monday afternoon, and then it gavels out, meaning everybody goes home at Thursday at around noon. And so the one thing you can do to really annoy the other side is to filibuster on a Thursday. Everybody's ready to go home. I used to come back to St. Louis to go to work, and these guys filibustered Thursday afternoon. And look, if I were a Democrat, I would filibuster the first day, the first minute, and I'd filibuster the whole session. And I used to talk to my Democratic friends when I was there, and I'd ask them, why aren't you doing this? Because you're in the minority, and if you really truly disagree, well, then clog up the works. And so I think it's I give it like maybe a B-. So it's not that big of a deal. They just want to make sure that people think they're relevant, and they're really not unless they filibuster longer and stronger and earlier. So
I follow a couple of accounts on Facebook with that are obviously run by some lefties, and they're talking about the real impact of a sales tax to replace the income tax. And I saw an article this weekend that suggested the if you combine local sales tax with a state sales tax on goods, you could be looking at 12, 13, maybe 14% tax in order to make up for the income tax. A couple of these websites were claiming it would be closer to 20%. Any thoughts on that?
Well, a couple things. So, first of all, the context in which everyone should contemplate the elimination of the income tax in exchange for other taxes paid, it's important that people just stop and think about what the elimination of income tax would mean to them. And I'm going to pick an income number. It's a high number, but just because the math is simple. So if your family makes $100,000, right now you're paying about $4,000 in state income taxes. And if you make $100,000, you take home, let's say you take home $70,000. And so if we eliminate the income tax, that's $4,000 of state tax you no longer pay. And Missouri state sales tax today is very low. It's only 4.25%. And what the state has done over the last 30 years is it's let the local taxing authorities kind of fill the gap, meaning all of us, when we go shopping in Brentwood, wherever we go, sales tax is 8, 9, 10%, but only 4 of that state, 6 of it's local something. So think about it. So back to my example, you start out, you've got 4,000 tax dollars you're getting back from Missouri. And so then now you go to spend your money at a higher tax rate. And let's say it doubles. Let's say it goes from 4% to 8%. So if you think about it, if you don't get to spend $100,000, if you spent every dollar you make, $70,000, every single dollar you make, and you pay 4% more in sales tax, you're still better off. And that's a challenging message to articulate to the voters to understand.
Right.
But even if the state sales tax goes from 4% to 8%, which it won't, the state tax in Tennessee is only 7%, and it didn't start there. We're all of us who actually work and pay state taxes will be better off, even if we spend the vast majority of our money on things that get taxed. And for the most part, you don't get taxed. You don't get taxed on your mortgage. You don't get taxed on rent. In Missouri, we hardly tax food. So there's all kinds of things you don't get taxed on. So the people who will be worse off by the elimination of the income tax is people who don't pay income taxes. And the one side of a sales tax-based state is that people need to focus on, and hopefully the Republicans message well, is that every single person that comes into and out of our state who doesn't pay state income taxes, they pay income taxes in some other state, they will pay the sales tax, the increased sales tax, and it's something they don't do now.
I keep hearing people say, well, why can't we just cut more programs? And I know that's difficult to do, but that's the argument I keep seeing on social media is let's just cut more programs. And then if we are going to do more of the sales tax, we could do it, not as high as an amount as they're thinking.
Well, we should be looking at cutting the size of government and cutting programs, all the time. And I think what you'll see, the way that if we implement the elimination of the income tax, what an attempt will be made is to have it go away gradually over time, and pay for, if you want to use that expression, pay for the loss of the income tax by a faster growing state economy. And now I acknowledge the fact that the state itself only has so much control over its economy year to year. I think decade from decade, that's not the case. And that's why decade to decade, Florida and Tennessee and the zero income tax states grow faster. But it's unfortunate that Parson didn't try to do this. We had $5 billion surpluses at the time. But, the Chiefs were playing well, and that was where his focus was when he was in office. And what Keel will be hoping for, if he gets the opportunity to eliminate the income tax, is that we do it in a period of time where the economy is growing, and the growth itself will make up for the loss of tax revenue.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. John, just on a separate note for a minute, any thoughts on the intrusion of that church up in Minneapolis? Did you see that this weekend? Well, of course, it's an illegal act. And such that he should be prosecuted, Lemon, for leading the charge, but he won't be. And it's just another in a long list of outrageous things that are going on, have gone on, and continue to go on in this country. That for some reason, our side, who has the prosecutorial authority
just doesn't want to prosecute people for things that they're doing. I don't know how you explain it other than just to think that either, we could say that our side's gutless or our side is implicated in some way. But no, I've long ago, I'm no longer shocked by the things that the left does. The left are playing for keeps. It's a blood sport to them. It's just another example of illegal actions they're willing to take to get back in power.
Yeah, you got to wonder. And I'm not sure they charged Don Lemon at the end of the day, but I think the other guy that kind of led the intrusion, who's challenged Pam Bondi, is going to end up getting charged under this FACE Act and that KKK Act, according to Harmeet Dillon. It sounds like they're looking to charge somebody for this.
Well, I like Harmeet, and she's a strong talker and far more than Pam Bondi. And but I'll believe it when I see it, and I hope if that's the case, if the charges are levied, I hope it's the beginning of what will be a long prosecutorial effort on behalf of the administration over the next 3 years. So
yeah, could not agree more. John Lamping, always great having you on. Thanks.
See you guys.
Absolutely. Good to get him on here. Coming up, we will get to in other news next hour. Our friend Todd Piro, and in the 8 o'clock hour, Dan Buck. The Buck stops here. You're going to love his segment today. Glad we got him on a Tuesday morning. We'll be back in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
On the roads this morning, we're starting to see just kind of the usual volume out there. So if you're just headed out, northbound 270 has slow pockets anywhere from approaching Gravois up through Manchester. Northbound 55, fine through the southern construction zone, but starting to slow at Bayless up north. We also look good on eastbound 70 from Forestell into downtown. 6440 is in good shape eastbound. We had a little bit of a slowdown westbound, kind of just past the Vandeventer area. Not sure what's going on there, just moderate volume. And a little bit of moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, it's cold outside, but I know who'll be working today, and that'll be the fine folks from Hanson's Tree Service, because they're out getting things done. Your grass is dormant this time of year. It's a great time if you've got to go into a backyard and remove a tree, you can get that done and get the equipment in and out, and it's doing minimal damage to the yard while you're getting that done. Of course, they're always conscious of that at Hanson's Tree Service, but call them up today and get your 10% winter discount. 636-379-1830. Love Chad Hansen and the folks out there. You're going to love what they do. If you get your tree care scheduled between now and March, 10% off the bottom line. That's easy. Now, if you own a second piece of property or you know somebody who does at the Lake of the Ozarks, I know for people that do that, they have to go down and take care of all kinds of maintenance issues. Hanson's Tree Service now is operational at the Lake of the Ozarks. So you can trust Hanson's Tree Service to take care of all of your tree problems down there at the lake as well. 636-379-1830. Online anytime at hansonstree.com.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Marc Cox, Annie Fry, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hey, Stewie, I need some cash. I need money. Who doesn't need money? What can you do for me?
Annie, this is a question people ask all the time. Now, pay attention because this is important. Don't get a home equity line of credit. A home equity line of credit is a credit card in your house. It's typically not a fixed rate, so it's an adjustable. You pay interest only. And there's a short-term opportunity to take the money out, and then later on, it turns into a loan that's a really high interest rate. Cash out refinance. That's the most important thing. Refinance your entire mortgage. Get the best rate that's out there. Give yourself the opportunity to refinance later when the rates drop. A cash out refinance is a little bit higher of a rate than a rate and term refinance. Do the cash out now, set yourself up for the future, and get the best deal out there. Just do me one favor. Don't tell my wife about this because she's going to want all the cash in the world to buy a new car.
Well, if you want to know more, Google the Bagel Loan to find out more information or call my friend Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan for more information. NMLS number 226715.
Why do the
the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. You don't hear fast talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Drury Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Drury Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Drury Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
What's happening?
Go, you know the thing.
What the hell is going on?
In other news.
Let me paint this picture for you. You have your margarita, your pina colada, you're relaxing on a nice sandy beach.
Is there an illegal alien?
I don't know. If they exist on Mars, then yes.
Oh, what?
Images are now showing Mars may have once had vacation-style beaches where there's now all that red, dusty terrain. They're saying that could have been sandy beaches. That's what research is indicating.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
You think the aliens hung out there? And
I don't
you think they had all those creepy ones that are nude?
If they
and
find a
clothing
single cell
optional?
organism, they'll claim there was life on Mars, but they won't recognize a baby in the womb as a life. So I don't have much sympathy for them.
I'd like to send some people to Mars.
Yes, I can. I'll provide you with a list.
Elon's working on that for you.
That's true.
That's true. Thank you very much. It's true. All right. So I love stories like this. These people are redoing their house, right? This 100-year-old house, over 100-year-old house out in Wyoming, and they're tearing apart a bedroom with a closet. They tore this closet apart, and they found a letter that was over 100 years old inside of the wall, dated to, I guess, a guy that lived there in Casper, Wyoming at the turn of the last century. And he was, it was a letter from Ireland, from his relatives in Bantry, Ireland, updating him on how things were going at home. And the guy that found it ended up communicating with some people who ended up with a picture of this guy. And now they've discovered his whole life history. It was like a sheep farmer or something in Wyoming.
That's
all
cool.
these years ago. That's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Imagine having to send a letter and wait weeks just to ask, how are you?
Yeah, what's going on?
That's easy
What's
to
new?
Now, if someone doesn't text us back in 20 minutes, we're like, are they okay? My gosh. Well, you can choose to spend your money how you want, but some people are choosing to spend their money to find some swans, male swans, I guess a girlfriend. Troy, Illinois, there are some swans there that I guess are sad because they recently lost their mates. And they say that one of the swans has been very grumpy. And so they posted about it on Facebook, the park district did, and they ended up raising enough money in about 24 hours to go buy a female for one of the swans so that it's not so lonely.
Oh,
Mark, you're awfully quiet, Mark.
How much do they have to pay to satisfy this wild animal?
Well, let me Google cost of a swan.
As long as the taxpayers.
Wow, it says the cost to purchase a live swan for a private pond generally ranges from $1,000 to over $5,000 for a pair.
You didn't pay for it, Mark. Relax.
Oh my gosh.
Not my tax dollars going for a new swan.
I want Elliot Davis to go look into that. Did I pay
they're
for it?
donations. You can
Okay.
choose to not buy a new swan.
Be lucky it's not a goose.
Can you write it off for tax purposes?
You can also grab swans by the neck if
I know.
they were attacking you. That's all I'm saying. It's that whole bird thing that bothers me. All right. So AI is everywhere these days, right? We know kids are using it. I talked to a friend of mine who's a teacher who said they have to watch for it constantly. They can tell. They know a kid can't complete a sentence, but comes in with a perfect paragraph. Something probably happened there. Now there's a new study out saying that AI, shocker, this is a shocker, is making kids less intelligent.
No.
What?
AI's use of reinforcing outcomes combined with little effort is causing atrophy for students learning. No kidding. No kidding. Why did we need a study from the Brookings Institute to tell us this?
So it's official.
It's
so they
official.
Get that money?
If you get somebody else to do your work for you, you don't learn anything. It's official.
And aren't school districts having to pay money for these software programs to be
To
able to
detect
detect
it,
if it's
yes.
AI? So that's just more money they're having to spend when they already don't have enough money.
We're doomed.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, we talk a lot about flying cars, and who knows when those will actually be a thing. But there's supposedly some little tiny flying vehicle that's being talked about, single passenger electric vehicle, where you could spend, I think it's just under $40,000, don't need a pilot's license, and you'd be able to fly for about 20 minutes. Says the top speed of this thing would be about 50 miles per hour, maximum flight time 20 minutes. The capacity is up to 220 pounds, and that includes the pilot.
This would never work for my wife. Her gas tank's almost always on empty. So if she forgot to charge it, she'd drop out of the air somewhere.
Is she one of those people where it says like 1 mile left till empty? She'd be like 1 minute left of flight time until
I can make it. No, first of all, you got to regulate this somehow, because the people that don't know how to drive sure as hell aren't going to be any better at flying.
That's exactly it.
Ooh, that's true.
And no lanes, no turn. How do you know if someone's going
electric
to turn?
poles and everything?
It says it can lift off and land vertically like a helicopter, and then transition into forward flight once it's airborne.
I'll believe it when I see it. I mean, I'm sure they exist, but you're going to have. Can you imagine what a mess the airwaves would be? The airways, if you didn't have some control over that, my goodness. And then one's going to land on your car on the interstate one day, for sure. Coming up, we'll get to Todd Piro, host of Fox and Friends First, and Mark Walters today on 2A Tuesday. Stay tuned.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line. But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, short my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Get bonus golf balls and Pro Tour tickets while they last. Presented by Post Dispatch. Test big brands with Pro-Am Golf. Enjoy the Sinclair Lincoln Long Putt, Trilogy Financial Simulator, and lessons by Elevate Golf at the Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st in St. Charles. Thanks to ESPN 101, Tito's Vodka, Sun Valley Golf Course, Yingling Flight, and the BMW Championship. Special tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
Is your home, business, or church looking tired, chalky, or in need of curb appeal? Go Rhino. Tired of painting year after year? Go Rhino. Our unique 3M ceramic technology is perfect for brick, stucco, aluminum, steel, color lock masonite, and more. It's backed by our 25-year transferable warranty to not chip, crack, or peel. Great if you're staying, and even better if you're selling. Our ceramic coating allows you to maintain all of your architectural features. The decision to do vinyl will leave your home looking like a plastic moldy box. With Rhino Shield, in 15 years, your home will still have that, wow, it looks like you just got it painted. We've done large condo complexes, parking garages, pole barns, and commercial strip malls. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. Evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. See what we did there? Genius. Tell them, ladies.
Don't hate, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
The American House Speaker addresses British lawmakers. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
It is a profound honor to be speaking in Parliament today, to be the first U.S. Speaker of the House ever given this honor.
House Speaker Mike Johnson a few hours ago saying the world needs a strong U.S. and U.K. working together amid new trade tension.
We've always been able to work through our differences calmly as friends.
This as Britain and other European allies consider retaliating to President Trump's new tariffs for opposing a U.S. takeover of Greenland. It's now part of Denmark, but overnight the president posted an AI image on Truth Social of him planting an American flag in Greenland with a sign, U.S. territory established 2026.
President Trump later today will be going to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. The president says he spoke with the Secretary General of NATO, Mark Rutte. Trump says Rutte committed to finding a way forward on Greenland. Trump says he told him that Greenland is imperative for national security. Only the U.S. can secure it, and that there can be no going back.
Fox's Rich Edson at the White House. Adding to the trade tension, France's president's critical of a Trump-created board of peace to oversee the next phase of the Gaza ceasefire. President Trump told reporters late last night,
"What I'll do is, if they feel like Costco, I'll put a 200% tariff on his wines and champagnes, and he'll join. But he doesn't have to join."
This is Israel demolishes in Jerusalem headquarters for the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees. Israeli forces also now at a Palestinian trade school. They can hardly believe it, but they're celebrating in Indiana a college football national championship.
This is an awesome moment. As a Hoosier, I'm a junior at IU. They sucked my freshman year, but they're amazing now, but I love them always.
Indiana football never even won 10 games in a season, but after beating Miami 27-21 in the national title game, they finished a perfect 16-0, led by Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Fernando Mendoza. He scored the game-winning touchdown. America's listening to Fox News.
Honey, that flu keeping you up? Did you take NyQuil Intense Flu?
Nah, I got this. Okay, I don't got this.
Yeah, you need NyQuil Intense Flu.
Undo your flu with NyQuil Intense Flu. NyQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms so you can sleep.
You do got this.
NyQuil Intense Flu. The nighttime sniffling, aching fever. Best sleep with the flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a saver plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Tuesday, January 20th, 7:03, only 9 degrees downtown at the Arch. All right, making headlines and starting in the Metro East, a man is dead after a shooting in Belleville. Investigators were called to the 600 block of State Street around 8:30 last night for shots fired. We know a female was taken into custody. Neither her age nor the victim's ages have been made public. Police do say the shooting was an isolated incident involving family members. A popular restaurant in Plaza Frontenac is officially closing. Canyon Cafe, known for its Southwest cuisine, has been inside that mall for more than a decade. Its last day will be this Sunday, January 25th. Canyon Cafe's closure follows several other closures here in the St. Louis Metro, including Steve's Hot Dogs, Super Smokers Barbecue, and Robust Bistro and Wine Bar. The fight over abortion access here in Missouri enters its second week in court. Planned Parenthood sued the state after Amendment 3 passed in 2024 to give unrestricted access to abortion services. The state argues the risk for complications justifies tighter restrictions. Keep in mind, Missourians will be voting this year on Amendment 3 that will ban abortion with exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. In sports, for the first time ever, the Indiana Hoosiers are national champs, went undefeated, beat Miami last night 27-21. Hey, SLU basketball is in the AP's top 25 for the first time in 5 years. Billikens are on an 11-game winning streak. Tonight, hoping to make it 12, facing Duquesne at 6. Mizzou faces Georgia at 8 o'clock, and then tomorrow it's Illinois' turn. They're playing Maryland. Tonight, though, Blues on the road playing the Jets at 7 o'clock. Our time coming up on 7:05, 9 degrees. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
There is an accident southbound 170 at Scudder, and they've got the right lanes blocked. If you are traveling in that area, it's on the right-hand side, some flashing lights on the scene. Expect some volume through there. Other than that, it hasn't been bad this morning. Some moderate volume along northbound 270. Pardon me, mainly between 44 and Manchester. And 55 northbound looks good. It's just a little bit of volume around Bayless in the construction zone there. 6440 has picked up some moderate volume out of Prospect, but that's it. And we are quiet on the Illinois side in general. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No question that car seat's going to be cold this morning. We are cold really all day, though. Temperatures compared to yesterday slightly better for a couple of hours this afternoon. Sunny skies and 36. Very windy tonight with some clouds around 32. Wednesday, sunny, breezy, and 44. Thursday, sunny and 37. Shot at some light, dry snow Friday night, Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
9 degrees right now is our temperature at 7:06. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show here on 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Glad you're back with us here on the Marc Cox Morning Show. I'm Mark. That's Kim. That's Ethan. We've got Sue Thomas up in just a minute with a look at with any traffic problems that might pop up. At least there's nothing like what happened. Where was it? Michigan?
That sounds right.
Where they had 100-car pileup yesterday. Wow.
How long was traffic backed up for that? Imagine being caught in that where maybe you weren't involved, but you were just right behind it. So the interstate's just shut down for, oh my gosh, hours.
I didn't recognize the highway, but it was shut down for hours. 100 cars involved and no injury, no fatalities. There was definitely some injuries, but no fatalities. And
which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
I know.
But imagine if you were one of those people who, I guess you kind of said your wife's like this, where drives until there's only a few miles left in the gas tank you can drive. Imagine that. You're on your way to the next gas station and you're caught for hours in the blistering cold, not even sure if your car will stay on. Oh my gosh.
Probably wouldn't.
That's
Probably
my
if it was
nightmare.
an EV, it might stay and not stay on. The cold temperatures cause those to drain down as well. All right. Well, besides that, we may get some weather in here this weekend. I don't know. We'll get Dave Murray on before the end of the week with a look at that. It's right now looks like it's going to go just south of St. Louis, but it's still going to potentially impact travel. So if we find anything more about it, we'll let you know. We have some relatives who were going to drive up from Atlanta on Friday, and now they're second guessing it because of this storm system that is coming through the area by the weekend. So more to come on that. We have got Todd Piro coming up from Fox News. We got Mark Walters at the bottom of the hour. Next hour, our friend Dan Buck is here with the Buck Stops Here segment this morning. And Dan's got some thoughts on what's going on up in Minneapolis as well. So we'll get to that. Why are they so opposed to having illegal aliens, criminals, removed from their community? That puzzles me. I've been into it with an acquaintance on Facebook who's a lefty who lives in Minneapolis. And apparently they have a little bit of a holier than thou attitude in Minneapolis. They think they're better than anybody else in the country, and that they exclusively get to decide which federal laws are enforced and which aren't. To which I had a little surprising statement for him that you're not special. There's nothing unique about Minneapolis except that it's colder than hell most of the time, and you have a lot of snowflakes up there who do not like the law being enforced. Dan's segment will point out something maybe even more treacherous than that at hand. So we're going to get to that for you coming up here in the 8 o'clock hour, in the about 8:20 today. Stay tuned for that. Right now, though, Ethan, let's go ahead and get to our top stories.
The Marc Cox short list.
That you have joined this year. It means everything, the Brotherhood of Hoosiers, and everybody all week was asking us, what does it mean to the program? And we put our cookie cutter responses, we got to focus on the game, but this is the granddaddy of them all. This meant a ton to us, and to come out on top with such a gritty physical game, means the world to myself and my brothers. What a special experience.
Yeah,
So
no
we were
kidding.
just,
Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner, soon to be number one pick in the NFL draft. What a night that kid had. I mean, he was beat black and blue. Did you see his arms all scraped up? Those Miami defensive linemen were monsters, and Indiana beat them after all in the season, I think 16-0. Undefeated for the first time since like Harvard did it in the 1800s. I mean, it's been a long time, and they won the college football championship last night. It was fantastic.
Right now, they feel a kind of helplessness, right? That's how you end up bullying your way into a church. And you've been in that chair. You've been the person who was the activist and felt like lawmakers weren't doing enough. Do you understand?
Yeah, Audie Cornish on CNN last night, claiming that the reason that those obnoxious people, including Don Lemon, felt like they needed to interrupt a Christian church service is just born out of frustration that they're not being heard. Therefore, they got to stick their noses somewhere they shouldn't have been, and now it looks like they're going to face federal charges for doing it.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a
no
Christian?
one is willing to talk.
How about that? Don Lemon trying to justify this intrusion into a church. That guy could get charged too. I don't know if they'll follow through on it, but he could face a felony for being in there with those protesters.
We're living through uncharted territories. We've never seen this before. An ally, a friend of 250 years, is considering using tariffs. We don't like tariffs, but certainly we don't like using tariffs as a geopolitical weapon.
That is a French finance minister, and if Donald Trump was discussing what the man said, he would tax in, but the media would blast him for that. They're mad because Trump said, "Listen, here's what's going to happen, and this is why it's going to happen. And if you don't do what we want, we're going to start taxing your champagne."
He said, "What, a 200% tariff on wine and champagne?"
Yeah. So in other words, you need to snap to. The socialists don't like that very much. They don't like being told that they have to do things that make sense. They do things that make them feel good. Ruins their economy. Doesn't make much for good trade relationships. But of course, they're very angry when you talk about challenging them like that and saying, if you don't do what we want. Donald Trump had to have this conversation with Macron recently, when he said, yes, you will drop your drug prices, or you will raise your drug prices, because if you don't, I'm going to slap a tariff on the champagne and wine coming out of your country. So the president's headed over to Davos, where he's going to have a lot of very interesting face-to-face conversations with these Europeans over what's going on. And I, for one, couldn't be any happier about that. Part of it's Greenland, but at the end of the day, you have to at Davos, one of the Danish foreign ministers or one of the European leaders stood up and talked about how they're not going to buckle to the pressure and they're going to do this and they're going to do that. What's at stake in Greenland is bigger than that. And you finally got a president who's America first, who realizes these other fools have been ignoring this problem for too long, go to cut 13. Here's the vice president on that issue.
They've underinvested in their security. They haven't done a good job of securing that area, that landmass. And what I hear them say is they always make an argument about the past. They'll say, well, we fought together in World War II, or we fought together in the war on terrorism. And we're grateful for that. We love having these allies. But just because you did something smart 25 years ago doesn't mean you can't do something dumb now. And the President of the United States is saying very clearly, you are not doing a good job with respect to Greenland. We're going to make sure we defend America's interests. And I think the president's willing to go as far as he has to make sure he does that.
They're saying it's too cold for American soldiers to handle. You've been there.
Who was saying that? Jasmine Crockett?
The Danes. Probably Crockett too.
I think Americans have done very well in some very cold places. I will say I wouldn't want to serve there, but luckily the vice president's residence is here in Washington, D.C.
Yep. His point is a great one. We've warned them for years that the president said this as well. We've been telling them for years they've got to ramp up what they're doing there. And guess what? This weekend, NORAD has informed the world that American troops are going to be cooperating with NATO and other forces and doing some exercises in Greenland. Wait till they see those F-35s flying above the coast of Greenland, and the media will freak out this weekend, thinking it's a full-scale invasion.
I can't wait to read the headlines.
You know what's going to happen. That is exactly what's going to happen. All right, we will get to a quick break because we got Todd Piro, host of Fox and Friends First, coming up. Stay tuned.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Watch out for an accident southbound 170 near Scudder in the right lane. And an accident reported eastbound 64 near 94. That one, it looks like, was on the left shoulder. And you just kind of have to take care through there. And, yep, we've got some flashing lights there on the scene now. They've got that left lane blocked. Northbound 270, slow pockets of moderate volume between 21 and Manchester. Northbound 55, slowing at Bayless. 64, a little slow out at Prospect, and of course at 94. And then it's fine. And if you're headed in from Illinois, there is pretty much a really light traffic on the Poplar Street Bridge. We are really looking good if you're headed in on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
If you are like most of us and you have saved money for retirement, that is good. That is a huge positive. But then the closer you get to retirement, you start to think, okay, well, wait a minute, is this enough? And do I know how money really works in retirement? I've got to make this money turn into lasting income. Well, that's where financial and tax architects come in, because this is what they do. They help people throughout the area protect their life savings, manage taxes in retirement, and just show them how to handle it all. And their idea is, let's teach people in a class. We'll start there. Retirement Planning 101. It's a one-night class. It's 2.5 hours. But if you need to get a handle on retirement and how it works, this is the best place to start. It's a free class, but you have to register. So go to fta-ria.com. F as in Frank, fta-ria.com. Secure a space and start getting a handle on your retirement.
It's 2026. Time to get your home zero resified. 3 rooms of carpet clean, starting at just $119, plus a free hallway and 15% off regularly priced services when you mention 97.1 FM Talk. It's ZeroResSTL.com.
Since we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see and hear lots of lawyer ads. It seems that most are bragging on what they got their clients. But be careful. If you heard that someone sold their car for $500,000, you would be impressed. But if you later learned that it was a rare $10 million Ferrari, would you say that person got screwed? And that's before you even know if it's true. Who is fact-checking? And how much went to medical bills and lawyers' fees? If you want to get an idea what your case may be really worth, visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts. You will see what a law firm like ours is capable of, and fact check for yourself. All that glitters is not gold. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won big, a lot. At Morgan & Morgan, we represent consumers. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This is Corey from Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. There's never a good time for your heating system to stop working. If yours does, no matter what time or day, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency HVAC service. Contact our award-winning team for 5-star heating service and stay in your comfort zone. For heating and 24/7 emergency service, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation at aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
Attention, Missouri baby boomers. The Give 5 program wants to connect you with volunteer opportunities that fit your skills and passions. Learn how you can lend a helping hand and bring positive change to those who need it most in just 5 hours a month. Signing up is easy. Just attend our next free class in your local community. Visit our website at MissouriGive5.org to find a class near you. Brought to you by Missouri Area Agencies on Aging.
Marc Cox is St. Louis conservative.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the man very happy this morning that the New York Giants might finally have a winning coach, Mr. Todd Piro of Fox and Friends First.
So I don't know if you saw social media. Whenever the Giants win, which has been 4 times in the last 15 years, I wear my Giant socks on the Monday after. And I think it was it this week, or I forget, the days are all running together. But I think it was as soon as the news came down, I was like, I'm wearing my Giant socks. I know we didn't win a game, but this is a win. So I'm excited. And contractually, how cool is it that we got him signed to a legally binding document before the Bills went ahead and fired their coach, and then, preventing him from thinking about taking the Bills job with the great Josh Allen.
That is, I saw that speculation that Harbaugh must have been kicking himself in the butt after they fired the Bills head coach. And the thing about it is he's like 60 games over 500 or something, and he's taken him to the playoffs every year, and they still fire him over things he had no control over, calls on the field and all that stuff.
Yeah, and the Bills fired their coach. So kind of similar thing. Harbaugh got fired. I mean, look at all the coach. Tomlin quit. I don't need this crap. It's insane.
It is. You know what I got to do over the weekend, Todd? I had a last-minute opportunity for a free ticket to the Denver Bills game, and I was there in Mile High Stadium watching it on Saturday.
Oh, you did?
It was awesome.
How did you get there? Did you fly?
I flew. I just bought a ticket last week at the last minute to Denver. Flew round trip. My brother-in-law was there with my 2 nephews, and we saw the game. It was great.
Look at you. That's awesome. You had a good time?
I haven't been to a playoff football game since the Lambs left here years ago. So It was, first of all, it's in an outdoor stadium, which is where football should be played. And it was, the temperatures were moderate, and it was fantastic. Yeah, it was great. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time.
We had a great time. It'll be almost it was almost as cold as it will be in Greenland when U.S. troops go in there, don't you think?
Nice. Or as cold as it is in the Northeast right now. My God, it is next level.
Well, how cold is it? It's 9 degrees. It's 9 degrees here today in St. Louis.
Oh, what do we got? We're competing here. Currently in my home state, or where I live, it's 15. So we got you by about 6.
Yeah,
but it feels like 3. What do you feel like, Kim St.
I don't even want to know.
I don't think there's any wind out there. But it's cold for sure. And we're supposed to get some snow through south of here, which I'm guessing is not going to affect you guys over the weekend, but it's
I'm looking. I'm glad you asked. This has become a weather report. This is awesome. Saturday night into Sunday looks like we may have a situation.
Are you a golfer? Are you a skier? I know you golf occasionally. Are you a skier?
No, I don't golf, but I know how to golf, and I'm really bad at it.
Okay.
Let's just give you this example. I went skiing once with my wife. before we were married, and it ended with me going down the mountain backward and me yelling at her for not teaching. So we don't go skiing.
I understand. When I was in Denver, the main complaint from people out there is that there's not enough snow at the resorts in Denver right now. Apparently, the number of people showing up, the number of tourists is down this year for that reason. So the snowboarder who was complaining about this was complaining that the base was only 36 inches. Now that's 3 feet of snow, correct?
How much do you need?
But that wasn't enough. They like it to be 4 or 5 feet deep when they're snowboarding, apparently. I didn't know that.
Why does it matter?
3 feet, 3 inches, a mountain, it's not going to matter. I'm embarrassing. Are you guys skiers?
No.
Oh, hell no. I've been skiing before, but I would not. I mean, I golf and I consider myself a golfer, but a bad one. But I would not consider myself a skier. I've done it so few times.
Todd, you might be able to relate to this. The only time I ever went snow skiing, was when I did it for a live shot when I was working as a TV reporter. And my husband always says, "Oh, let me guess. The only time you've done that was when you were reporting." And it's true. All my experiences, my cool experiences were reporting.
I mean, I flew with the Thunderbirds. You think I'm doing that on a random Thursday?
Yeah.
No,
That's cool.
Only when you're reporting, right?
Yeah, the Blue Angels are coming again this summer to St. Louis, and several of our folks have gotten to go up with them. So I would love to do that sometime.
Fun. I never want to do it again.
No, just once.
Yeah.
Once was enough.
Did you throw up?
3 times.
Sorry for anyone eating breakfast, but I had to know.
I mean, it's and I didn't even hit the G's. Like other people have done it here. They're like, we hit 9 G's. I was like, they talked about that being like unhittable when you were watching Top Gun. Like 9.1 was like you explode. I got to 6.3, and I truly did not know if my body, I would have died if we went to 6.4. But it was, people here claim like, I hit 9. Look at me.
No way.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you. People are tougher than me here at the Fox News Channel. That's why they put me at 5 a.m.
I would not. I don't think I would. Yeah, I'm going to have to ask if that's a thing before I decide to do that. So I just have to ask the folks in Minneapolis, from putting your legal hat on for a second. Do you think the DOJ is going to go after the people that invaded that church? It sounds like they are.
They have to. They have to send a message, because if you are going to consistently get sanctioned to do what you want to do from the Minnesota quote unquote leaders on the Democratic side, you're getting permission. It's more than sanction. You're literally getting tacit permission. Then the other side, meaning the DOJ under the Trump administration and the Republicans, absolutely need to fight fire with fire, because we can't have a society where you go into churches to protest. That is First Amendment versus what they call the First Amendment, but it is not. It's illegal, can't happen. It's a violation of the FACE Act, the Orrin Hatch Amendment to the FACE Act. This can't happen. It's got to stop. You got to put it into it now. And if these people want to test it, test it. There's enough prosecutors working. We can get you all in jail.
Sounds like Harmeet Dillon's already got it figured out from what I heard over the weekend. Todd, we're out of time, my friend. Thank you.
Have a great week, St. Louis, and go Giants.
Yeah, stay warm. You bet.
Yeah, you too.
Go Giants. All right. They got a new coach signed just in time that he couldn't back out of the deal when he realized the Bills' job was open with Josh Allen. So with like a star quarterback who just can't seem to win the big games for sure. At least he didn't win the one I was at Saturday. That's for sure. All right, coming up, Mark Walters, host of Armed American Radio. Find out more about the change the DOJ's put in place that will now allow you to mail a handgun from point A to point B, which you couldn't do before unless you were a dealer. We're going to talk to Mark coming up.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Let's talk real estate for a minute. If you got questions, I know somebody that's got the answers. She's my friend as well. Her name is Gloria Liu. She's with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. She helped me sell my home last year. She will help you sell yours. And the whole affair from start to finish is going to be stress-free. Let me explain why. Because Gloria, unlike a lot of the other realtors out there, and everybody knows one, has some guarantees that you don't find elsewhere, right? How about a guarantee that your home is sold or she'll buy it? How about a guarantee that she'll put it in writing as well? She'll sell your home for 100% of market value, or she'll pay you the difference. That's peace of mind. You can't beat that. You can't find it anywhere else. Call her today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Tell her Marc Cox told you to call. Check her out online anytime. It's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk. Only 9 degrees now, coming up on 7:31. A write-in candidate has officially entered the race for Manchester alderman. Bill Parmentier says he threw his name in the hat after it was uncovered that the only other candidate running for Ward 1, Jessica Green, is accused of defrauding the local Boy Scouts of America troop. The Manchester election coming up on April 7th. Self-driving semi-trucks could be coming here to Missouri. A bill making its way through the legislature that would regulate self-driving technology is getting support from disability advocates. A firefighter, though, argued these self-driving cars have a history of disrupting the emergency vehicles. One argument from an attorney relates to who you could even sue if one of these cars crashed into you, since the bill considers the driver to be hardware. In sports, for the first time ever, Indiana Hoosiers national champs after beating Miami 27-21. SLU basketball in the AP's top 25 for the first time in 5 years. I'm Kim St. Ange for 97.1 FM Talk.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, the left lane is blocked eastbound 6440 near 94. There was an accident on the left shoulder, and they've had to close that left lane to get the emergency vehicles in there. We also have an accident on southbound 170 near Scudder, and that one, the right lane is blocked as well, and we've got a jam behind it. Those are the two issues this morning. Other than that, it's the usual volume. Northbound 270, in pockets, moderate volume 55 through Ladue Road. Southbound 270, a little slow at Ladue Road. Northbound 55, slowing at Bayless in the construction zone. And we've got some moderate volume westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
This report is sponsored by McKelvey Homes.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan at McKelvey Homes. Have you always wished for a brand new home in an established neighborhood? Select one of our move-in ready custom homes throughout St. Louis, or we will build on your lot. Visit McKelveyhomes.com and move up to McKelvey.
I don't know how many of you can relate to me, but one of the most stressful parts of doing any sort of a project when I realize I want to do something at my home is figuring out which company to call, because I'm one of those people who's going to just be constantly Googling, the company, wanting to read the reviews and make sure they're reputable, because you don't want to be hounding the contractors, making sure they show up on time. We've all been there. It's really annoying. And that's why it's so important that whatever you're doing at your home, whether it's inside or outside, you want to go with a trustworthy company. And I'm telling you, that's Lakeside Renovation and Design. I know the owners. This is a family-run business that's been making homes beautiful, really, here in the St. Louis area for close to 30 years. And they basically do it all. So if you want a beautiful new kitchen or a spa-like bathroom, maybe it's time to replace your deck, or you want to finish your basement, or maybe it's the outside space of your home. Your backyard just looking kind of frumpy, and you want to have this really great little area you can retreat to after work or host your family and friends. Again, Lakeside Renovation and Design can basically do it all. What's pretty cool is they have a showroom in Chesterfield. So if you just want to go there in person, see some of the things, the top trends for 2026, they have that all there. Plus, you could talk to one of Lakeside Renovation and Design's in-house designers. Entire team, by the way, is in-house. They're not subcontracting out to these third parties like a lot of the companies do. And so it makes it a lot easier to know that you're going to be able to trust the person who's coming to do any sort of a project. What also is really cool that sets Lakeside apart is, let's say you have a question, you're not ready to pull the trigger on a project, but you just want to ask about something, go to lakesiderd.com. You can chat with the owner's daughter, Candace. It's not some bot. You get to talk directly with her. Plus, Lakeside's going to work with your budget. They offer financing options. This is a company, again, you know is going to do a great job and back up their work. It's lakesiderd.com.
What if every time you spent money, you saved money too? With Achieve It Checking from Together Credit Union, you can do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the spare change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your progress by matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-894-7722. That's 800-894-7722. Again, 800-894-7722.
Hey guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
If you ban them in the future, the bullets will have been shot and there won't be any more available.
So you don't shoot deer with a bullet that size. If you do, you could cook it at the same time.
Put that double barrel shotgun and fire 2 blasts outside the house.
That is without a doubt the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
All right, Mark Walters back with us, host of Armed American Radio's Daily Defense. And how are you, my friend? Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Kim. Good morning, St. Louis. Great to be with you.
Yeah, it's great to have you. I saw this story over the weekend, Mark, and I thought of you immediately because I'm like, it's nothing. I knew about the ban. It's nothing I thought the DOJ was working on, but that the DOJ has now determined that the ban on mailing concealable firearms is unconstitutional and cannot be enforced.
Correct. And that's a beautiful thing. But a lot of people don't understand how this works. Let's think about, when would you send a gun, right? Does that mean that you can send a gun to your sister or brother? Well, we're going to have to wait to see how that's explored. But here's the problem. Let's say that you take training. This is the issue where it most concerns us. Let's say that you're getting ready to take a training course. You've saved up for a year, and it's costing you $5,000 to $6,000. You got to bring a bunch of ammo and everything else. The easiest way to get your gun from point A to point B is to ship the gun to yourself, right?
Right.
At the location you're going to be. That's currently banned under federal law. DOJ has said that's no longer, that's not constitutional. In another situation, what if you live in Illinois? We have listeners right now in the state of Illinois, and Illinois listeners want to drive or are going to New York, or they're going to somewhere through a New Jersey or New York airport. You can travel with a firearm, but guess what happens to you when you pick up your bag or try to check your gun in New York or New Jersey? You're going to get arrested for traveling with a firearm. So the easiest way to do that is to mail the gun to yourself, which is what we're talking about here. It's why it's important.
Well, it is. And you could always mail long guns, correct? You just couldn't mail concealable or short barreled weapons.
Correct. And the DOJ is apparently not going to enforce that. I need to speak with Mr. Gottlieb about more particulars on that and how that will play out before I give any more information. But what we've just discussed is what we're talking about on the surface. That is
wow.
correct.
Yeah, I thought that was a big deal, and I'm glad to see the DOJ is actively looking at those things, right? Because clearly they've been abused in the past. I would assume people have been prosecuted for doing that.
Oh, many times. There have been people that have gotten laid over in New York, for example, because of weather, and go to check their gun back in the next day and wind up arrested because it's a violation of New York law. It's an unregistered handgun. You're not a resident of the state. You don't have a New Jersey registration or New York part. The whole thing's convoluted. This is America. The Second Amendment doesn't stop at our state borders. Now, something that I want to discuss before we don't have time is the Supreme Court in 2.5 hours, is hearing the Walford v. Lopez case today, which is a challenge to Hawaii's ban on public carry basically everywhere. The court is going to hear that case at 10:30 this morning Eastern time. And I want you to listen to how Hawaii is arguing this. And this is from Honolulu Civil Beat yesterday. Hawaii AG to Supreme Court. Gun control is Hawaii tradition. Tradition. Their position here is that because King Kamehameha III banned the possession of firearms in 1833 in the Hawaiian Kingdom, the default position of Hawaii is no guns are allowed. That should be our default position, the state says, and we should be able to handle it from there. Well, guess what, Hawaii? That all changed in 1947 when you became a U.S. state, and I can't wait to hear these arguments. I can hear Thomas right now. I can't wait for this.
I can't either. I hope somebody airs part of that just so I can listen in on it. I found out about King Kamehameha in a Brady Bunch episode in the 1970s.
Yeah, with the little thing that they found that caused all the bad luck. I remember that. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So that guy's still around causing problems. Who knew?
Still bad luck in Hawaii. That must have been the trinket of gun control, right? He left underneath the rock somewhere in a lava field.
It reminds me of Australia, what they've been trying to do there.
Well, yeah, but
obviously.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, obviously, it's very different with it being Hawaii, but it just reminds me of how restrictive some of these areas are.
You're correct. I had a young lady from from Australia on the Monster Cast Sunday show just this past weekend who went home to see her family and made it clear to my listeners on Sunday she's never going home to Australia ever again. She will never go back. They're already, she said, going door to door confiscating guns. She landed when she flew in for the holidays in Sydney while the Bondi Beach attack was occurring. She landed. She went to that beach days later and walked the bloodstained sands of those beaches and was just so disheartened by what is happening in her home country right now. And she gave a stark warning to Americans: never, ever, ever, ever allow yourself to become defenseless. This is what happens.
Yeah. Well, I want you to tell the people about Michael DeStefano. I read this story on Armed American News, and it is unbelievable. Letitia James again is trying to prosecute this guy who doesn't even live in New York.
Yeah, he's a Florida resident, and he was selling parts legally. He had customers in all 50 states, and according to him, Mr. Lawrence DeStefano has 50,000 plus customers in New York, and Letitia James wanted the names of every one of his customers because she claimed those customers were violating New York state law with unregistered, unserialized parts. He refused to give up the names. They issued a warrant, and I don't have the answer to this one, but Governor DeSantis signed the warrant for his arrest in Florida, sent the state police to pick him up on a felony stop. He's been in jail in Florida for 90 days. They extradited him Monday. He was extradited to New York. He faces 521 years in a penitentiary. He's now in Rikers Island, a Florida resident, for selling legal parts, but not in New York. And if you look at a picture of Letitia James's face, all you have to do is look at her face and you think, like, God, why won't these people just go away?
Thank you.
But they won't. They will never, ever, ever stop. And he is now in New York, and he's facing 521 years. Now, he has vowed that he's not going to give her one name, and he will go to prison for the rest of his life. He said, I will never give up my name. So if I'm one of those people in New York, when that reality of 521 years begins smacking him in the face in court, who knows what's going to happen? There were 7 others that pled in New York and agreed to stop what they were doing and give her what she wanted. and did not face prosecution. This man is standing pat and standing firm. He's a patriot, and we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But it's a very, very dire situation.
I wonder what his GoFundMe page looks like right now. I hope people are filling that one up for sure.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I don't know if he has one. I'll check with Lee Williams, the gun writer who broke this story, on that today and get back to you on that.
Awesome. Mark Walters, always great having you on, my friend. Thanks for the information.
You bet. Stay free, guys. Never give up your rights. Thanks for the fight.
Don't you worry.
We appreciate it.
We'll talk soon. Armed American Radio and Armed American News. You can find it armedamericannews.org. There's more information on that story, this guy being persecuted and prosecuted by Letitia James. Just the picture of her makes me mad when I look at her, knowing what she did to Trump and others. She just randomly goes after anybody she wants to. It's just crazy. But you can find that at armedamericannews.org, and you can listen to Mark Walters on Daily Defense, his radio program that he hosts through his website there. That's great. Kim, what are we talking about today?
Well, this morning we're getting some inside information on the vetting process Kamala Harris's team went through to try to find her a vice president. Josh Shapiro is revealing the one question that he says was so offensive, he thought her team was kidding.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got an accident on eastbound 70 this morning, really close to Cave Springs, and they've got the left lanes blocked, only one right lane getting by, and you can imagine that we've got a jam behind it that goes back to Spencer Road. So back past 370 this morning if you're stuck in that jam. Well, there was also an accident on eastbound 64. This one was near 94, and they've had the left lane blocked there, and that has created a jam. So really the best option right now is 364, and it's a little bit busy in 94. Then 40 is slow, just moderate volume east of 270 through Big Bend, with westbound lining up approaching Hampton through McCausland. And the accident southbound 170 at Scudder is still in the right lane. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic. This report brought to you by Point with an E Pest Control on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Tired of mice? Point Pest Control finds their entry points, eliminates the infestation, and seals them out for good with our exclusion services. Mention Annie to get 10% off on top of any other special. Call 636-798-0023. Visit Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
I just got a text from a friend, Lisa, this weekend, who told me that she had gone to Michael's Flooring Outlet and had a fantastic experience again. And I was glad to hear that. I told her to make sure that she mentions she heard it on the Marc Cox Morning Show, which she did. And she was bragging about Kim, one of the employees over at the Creve Court store, and just about what great customer service and what a wealth of knowledge she is. So thank you, Kim, for that help over the weekend with my friend Lisa. They're going to get some new flooring from Michael's. If you're shopping for flooring, at least swing by there and give them a shot at your business, because they're going to earn it. They're going to earn it with their knowledge, like we were talking about there. They're going to earn it with their price, their fair prices. They're going to earn it with the customer service and the follow-up after the sale. Whether you're looking for waterproof flooring, new carpeting, it doesn't matter. They got some great Mohawk products over there. If it's in stock, you might get it installed the next day. That depends on your schedule and their schedule, but I think that's fantastic. Mike Reynolds has been in the flooring business for a long time, and now he's got the stores there in St. Peter's and Darien Prairie, and the one in Creve Coeur on Olive west of 270. Check him out online. Tell him Marc Cox sent you. It is igotfloored.com.
Hey, it's your main man, Jimmy Fallon, and I am headed your way. Saturday, January 24th at the Factory in Chesterfield. We are defunding the joke police. So grab your tickets at 971fmtalk.com/events, and I will see you in the loo.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
SSM Health welcomes the St. Louis Golf Expo January 30th through February 1st at St. Charles Convention Center. Buy big brands with Pro-Am Golf, test your skills, and win prizes while they last. VIP tickets at stlgolfexpo.com.
Scott, can you believe it's already been more than a decade since the Queen of Carpets sold flooring to St. Louis area contractors?
I know, but I don't have to be a king to offer contractors today's lowest prices.
Yes, contractors owe it to their customers and themselves to shop at Best Buy Flooring for the largest in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile.
Plus 3 convenient locations, North County, South County, and Metro East.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring.
License number E2014A.
Hey, it's good to see you.
You know, there's a certain way we do things around here, the Grasser way.
The Grasser way?
We don't cut corners and we don't take shortcuts. Not on the little stuff and not on the big stuff.
We do the big stuff.
That's right. Whole home generators that kick on the moment the grid gives up. Lights stay on, heat stays on, your family stays safe, so your house stays warm.
And your ice cream stays frozen.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is St. Louis conservative. Kim on a whim.
I would love to have been a fly on the wall for that vetting process when Kamala Harris was trying to figure out who her running mate would be. She was looking at a number of people. Obviously, she decided to pick Tim Walz, which was a terrible decision. Not that it mattered anyway because they lost. But she was also considering Arizona Senator Mark Kelly. She was looking at Pete Buttigieg, who, by the way, I think will run for president.
Of course he will.
But Josh Shapiro, Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, it sounds like his ties to the Jewish people, because he himself is Jewish, right? His support, they call him a Zionist, that was just too much, okay? Listen to what her team, Kamala Harris's team, supposedly asked Josh Shapiro.
Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro revealing in his new memoir his experience during the VP vetting process by the Kamala Harris campaign. Shapiro writes that a senior member of Harris's vetting team asked him at one point, "Have you ever been an agent of the Israeli government?" Piro, who is Jewish, saying that the focus on Israel during the vetting process with him went to such an extent that he found it offensive.
Yeah, he actually said, "Is she kidding?" He was so dumbfounded that was the focus of the vetting process. He says that he also was asked by Kamala Harris if he would apologize for statements he had made condemning the campus protests at the University of Pennsylvania. He says, "I told her no." Good for him. But that was supposedly, I believe, the reason why she decided not to pick Josh Shapiro.
It was hands down the reason. There was discussion about it at the time with lots of smoke, but no flames as to what the proof was that's why she turned him down. But I thought it was pretty obvious. Her progressive left base, the ones, gnawing at these college campuses and trying to shut them down and harassing Jewish students, would not have taken well to a Jewish vice presidential candidate who they would feel would be more likely to have a positive relationship with Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They're complete anti-Semites, all of them.
Right, which is why she thought it was risky to choose him as a running mate. What is interesting to me is I thought I heard the reason why she decided not to go with Pete Buttigieg is because she thought the combination of her as a woman of color, and Pete Buttigieg being a gay man, that was too risky. It was a little too progressive. Have we seen the left? They're incredibly progressive. They think they can turn into camels and dogs one day and then whatever the heck they want the next day. I mean, that's the base there for a lot of these. I know they're extreme lefties, but truly, that's the way the movement is shifting.
More evidence that more evidence that they're so driven by their ideology, they can't see the real issues here. I mean, I'm not a fan of Josh Shapiro's. I listened to him in an interview this weekend. He was on Fox. And, he can sound like a very reasonable guy until he starts talking about Donald Trump. And he's got issues as well. And I always think that's interesting. When I hear somebody like Chuck Schumer, who's Jewish, or Josh Shapiro, who's Jewish, hating on Donald Trump, who is the grandfather to Jewish children. His daughter's married to a Jew, and the prime minister of Israel has said that Donald Trump has done more for the Jewish people than any other American president ever. And yet the Democrats in this country, the Jews can't see past their hatred of Donald Trump to acknowledge what an advantage it's been having him as president for the people who currently occupy Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They just can't make that leap.
Do we think Josh Shapiro would run for president?
I think he is running for president.
I think he will. I think he would win a lot of the voters over.
Well,
simply,
I don't know.
I think he would for that. I'm not saying he would win, but I think he would win over some of the voters who might be hesitant because he's a Democrat, but he at least understands that they shouldn't be harassing Jewish students as they walk to class on a lot of these college campuses.
He'll never make it out of the primary. He'll never make it out of the primary.
Well, okay, wouldn't you rather, I'm not saying I'd want Josh Shapiro, but let's just say you had to have a Democrat in office. I'd rather have a Josh Shapiro than a Gavin Newsom.
Oh, I would agree with that. But the crazy left ideologues that run the Democratic Party now, the Jasmine Crockett's, the Ilhan Omar's, that bunch, will not allow a Jewish individual to be the nominee of their party. They won't allow it. They have a burning hatred of Jews. It's obvious with their statements, particularly Omar, Jamea Priapal, all these people can't stand it. And there's no way it'll just never happen. It would be too much common sense for them.
I've heard a lot less of AOC recently. Have you noticed that? She's been a little bit quieter, but maybe it's because Ilhan Omar's out there screaming about the Somalis in Minnesota who are defrauding the state.
Maybe.
And her weirdness with her family and her wealth that has skyrocketed.
It's weird you say that. I haven't seen as much as of AOL. Maybe she's
AOL, like the chat. Remember having to dial into AOL?
I do remember
I don't miss that.
It's singing the song of its people. AOC. I haven't seen as much of AOC. Maybe she's tamping it down because she's getting ready to run for Senate. You think?
It's a good possibility. I mean,
she's in training.
People are always seeking higher office, and maybe
she's
not always, but in many cases,
she's going to run against Schumer.
Chuck Schumer. What's your accent like?
Primary Schumer. Chuck Schumer. I still don't do a real good one for him or Bernie.
He's a
disaster.
They both sound the same. Of them are a disaster.
Oh yeah.
I just hope Mom Donnie doesn't decide to run because it's scary that people in New York City elected him as mayor, and there might just be enough crazy people across the country to do the same. I'd like to think not, but I'm not putting it past anyone anymore.
There will be a Democrat socialist in the primary for the Democrats this year. You can bet on that. And they'll probably draw more than the 2% Kamala Harris ever got when she was running in the primary. All right, coming up next hour, we'll talk to Dan Buck. He's got some thoughts on what's really behind these protests in Minneapolis. And our buddy Ryan Wiggins is in at the bottom of the hour with some shocking news out of Virginia. Stay tuned.
The team at Ricken Financial want to help you make educated and informed decisions about your retirement strategies.
Why not rely on individuals who can optimize your thinking and optimize your plan and optimize all the resources and show you what's all available to be able to make a truly informed decision.
Call Ricken Financial today, 314-207-6211 or online at rickenfinancial.com and join us for Kickin' with the Rickens Sunday at 1 p.m. here on 97.1 FM Talk. Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. We are being told by IRS collection officers that their higher-ups are demanding that they get more aggressive than ever. So don't ignore them any longer. Level up. If you have unfiled returns, unpaid taxes, levies, or liens, call me, Lance Drury, today and let me get between you and the IRS. I'll protect your rights. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, our practice is focused 100% on fighting the IRS. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems, and they need to be handled by an expert attorney who's done it for decades. So call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. We're local. Our office is right here in St. Louis. Call 314-260-6120. Visit Lance, DRURY law.com to schedule your free consultation with your local tax resolution law firm.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants, so
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
We're now 1 year into term 2. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The golden age of America begins right now.
That was last January 20th when President Trump returned to the White House. Late last night, he told reporters,
I inherited a mess, and now we have the hottest country anywhere in the world.
But there's tension with some U.S. allies. House Speaker Mike Johnson addressed British Parliament this morning at first, and he urged calm.
More than ever before, we need the British people to be great and proud and patriotic, and you are. To work in close concert with us as partners and friends, and to defend the security of the Western world.
But Britain and France and other European countries are considering retaliation after President Trump imposed tariffs for opposing his push to take over Greenland, now a territory of Denmark, a NATO ally. The president insists it's a national security issue.
We have to have it. They have to have this done. They can't protect it.
And as the anti-ICE protests continue in Minnesota after 2 recent immigration enforcement-related shootings, a demonstration inside a church Sunday remains under federal scrutiny.
The Department of Justice says the protesters who organized and then stormed into the church could face all types of charges, including interfering with religious worship under the FACE Act, perhaps upgraded felony charges under the Klan Act, as well as potential conspiracy.
Fox's Matt Finn in Minneapolis. 2 police officers are in stable condition in Portland, Oregon after being shot last night. There's a manhunt for the gunman. And a search for another shooter in Indiana, where a judge and his wife were shot and wounded in their home on Sunday. Also in Indiana, a celebration. They partied late into the night in Bloomington after the Hoosiers won the college football national championship, beating Miami 27-21. Heisman Trophy quarterback Fernando Mendoza scored a fourth-quarter touchdown that ended up the game winner, completing a perfect 16-0 season. Then Mendoza told ESPN,
everybody doubted us at the beginning of the year. We didn't make it this far, not to lay it on the line. I would die for my guys in the field, same way I do for myself.
America's listening to Fox News.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take Dayquil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the Dayquil.
Undo your flu symptoms with Dayquil Intense Flu. Dayquil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
Dayquil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Welcome to the most wonderful time of the year, when millions of Americans open their credit card statements, scream in terror, and start looking for new ways to save money. If that's you, why not cut your wireless bill in half with a safer plan from Pure Talk? You'll get unlimited talk, text, and 3 gigs of high-speed data on a super-fast 5G network for just $20 a month. Ho, ho, ho. Just dial pound 250, say micro, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you switch in minutes. Again, talk, text, and data for just $20 a month.
Good morning. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk. Tuesday, January 20th. When you step outside, if you are at 8:03, just know it's painfully cold right now, just 9 degrees. All right, if you felt shaking last night, you're not crazy. A 3.5 magnitude earthquake was reported in Ullman, Illinois around 1:30 this morning. That's about 90 miles northeast of St. Louis. But residents on the Missouri and Illinois side reported feeling it. There were reports from St. Peter's, Clayton, all the way to Collinsville. No reports of any significant damage. A popular restaurant in Plaza Frontenac is closing. Canyon Cafe, known for its Southwest cuisine, has been inside the mall for more than a decade. Its last day will be this Sunday, January 25th. Canyon Cafe's closure follows several others here in the St. Louis area, including Steve's Hot Dogs, Super Smokers Barbecue, and Robust Bistro and Wine Bar. The fight over abortion access here in Missouri enters into court for its second week. Planned Parenthood sued the state after Amendment 3 passed in 2024 to give unrestricted access to abortion services. The state's arguing the risk for complications justifies tighter restrictions. Keep in mind, Missourians will be voting this year on Amendment 3 that will ban abortion with exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. In sports, for the first time ever, the Indiana Hoosiers are national champs, going undefeated. They beat the Miami Hurricanes 27-21 last night. SLU basketball is in the AP's top 25 for the first time in 5 years. Billikens are on an 11-game winning streak. Tonight, hoping to go for 12 when they face Duquesne at 6 o'clock. Mizzou facing Georgia at 8. Tomorrow, it is Illinois' turn. They're playing Maryland. And tonight, Blues on the road playing the Jets at 7 o'clock. Coming up on 8:05, 9 degrees. I'm Kim St. for 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Crews have been clearing accidents throughout the area, but we still have the one eastbound 70 at Cave Springs. Fire truck there, 2 left lanes blocked, and traffic is jammed behind it. Looks like they have cleared the one, or at least have been working on it, eastbound 64 near 94. And then, of course, east of there was another incident approaching the Boone Bridge, but things are improving through there. Accident reported northbound 141 before Gravois Bluffs. Look for that in the left lane. We had an accident reported southbound 55 north of Butler Hill. That's off on the right-hand side. And in between all that is the usual volume. Northbound 55 at Bayless, northbound 270 in pockets between Gravois and Ladue Road, and a little bit of a slowdown westbound on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
No question that car seat's going to be cold this morning. We are cold really all day, though. Temperatures compared to yesterday slightly better for a couple of hours this afternoon. Sunny skies and 36. Very windy tonight with some clouds around 32. Wednesday, sunny, breezy and 44. Thursday, sunny and 37. Shot at some light, dry snow Friday night, Saturday night. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
8:06 right now, 9 degrees. You can listen to the Marc Cox Morning Show or any other show here at 97.1 FM Talk anytime or anywhere. Just download that free Odyssey app.
The Marc Cox Morning Show is brought to you by Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group, retirementkey.com.
This is the Marc Cox Morning Show.
In my defense, I was watching highlights of the Indiana
game
again.
You would have been better off saying something else. I don't feel bad for
Totally
you
worth it.
at all.
No, I was in there, looking at the Fernando Mendoza interview that I cut up earlier, and he was talking about the fact that defense wins championships, and they showed that last play when Miami could have driven down the field and tried to score a touchdown, and they intercepted the ball, and that ended it. So
I watched that this morning as I was getting ready for work.
Well, you should watch it right before the show starts,
That's
and then
a
you'll be late
fantastic
walking
idea.
in here.
That's a really good idea.
Which I watched again. That he's just an amazing human being. That Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, I know.
He really is. He's a God-fearing individual.
With
number
a 5.0 GPA, I'll have you know. I must be in honors classes to get a 5.0.
Well, at least he's not like
Can you take honors classes
Carson
in college?
Beck, who admitted this week he graduated 2 years ago from Georgia. And they're like, so what are you doing now? Are you like taking classes or whatever? He's like, no, not really. He's not even, I assume he's enrolled in school at Miami. How is that a thing? How did the NCAA let them get away with having a quarterback who graduated 2 years ago and he's still on their team playing football?
I heard he might be taking master's classes.
Well,
why
apparently
would
in
a
his interview, he
master's
kind of.
Well, I know, but that's what
qualify?
they were
That's-
just saying. Like maybe it's an online course or something.
But that's ridiculous. Could that mean that someone who's way older but somehow still really talented could go and take one class and say, "Oh, I'm going back 10 years later to get my master's, and therefore I qualify"?
I mean, if you've got the eligibility, maybe.
But that's what I mean. Like, does that make you eligible if you're taking one class? That's stupid.
Yeah, but it depends on how many years you've played beforehand too.
They've screwed the whole thing up with NIL deals and all that stuff. College football, college basketball, all of it for sure. But Indiana is the champion. You can't take that away from them or their basketball team. 50 years ago this year is when Bob Knight's team went undefeated. So when you do see Tom Ackerman and he's walking about 2 feet off the floor, you'll understand.
I just texted him.
He was at the game last night. He'll be back here this week, and we'll have him on Thursday. But still, I mean, come on. What a fantastic game as a fan. And then to be there and it be your team. Wow. That was just great. I think that's great. Coming up, we're going to get to Dan Buck. Dan's taking a look at what's maybe really behind all these protests in Minneapolis. I said earlier I was arguing with a friend of mine online, and I finally had to say to him, because he's like, you just don't know what it's like to live in this community and watch your neighbors being affected the way they are. I'm like, Robert, Minnesota's not special. Other than the fact that you have way too many snowflakes who live there, there's nothing unique about Minneapolis or Minnesota over St. Louis, Missouri, or Clayton, Missouri, or Kansas City, Missouri, or Springfield, Illinois. But the difference here is the reason he goes, wait till it comes to your community. I'm like, it's not going to come to my community because we don't allow sanctuary cities and we honor ICE detainers. So the police pick up the really bad guys at the jail and then deport them instead of having to go into neighborhoods and look for them because your leaders release them into the wild. And then we have to go look for them. So if you would stop doing that, you could end all this problem tomorrow. But you're just a bunch of snowflakes who think that they're just targeting Minneapolis. Leave us alone. The mayor up there really thinks this whole problem would go away if you just leave us alone. Guess what? We're not leaving criminals alone. We're not. We're going to get rid of them. So, and they've set a record this year, apparently, it looked like, with the number of removals. I was glad to see that. That is very good news. So we'll talk to Dan more about that coming up at about 8:20. We got Ryan Wiggins in here at the bottom of the hour with some other pretty amazing news from a different state in the nation. It's going to have you scratching your head for sure. But right now, we want to get to our top stories, please.
The Marc Cox short list.
I had no affiliation to that organization. I didn't even know they were going to this church until we followed them there. We were there chronicling protests. Once the protest started in the church, we did an act of journalism, which was report on it and talk to the people who were involved, which included the pastor, members of the church, and members of the organization.
Oh, suddenly Don Lemon, who is a YouTuber these days, is doing an act of journalism, he wants you to believe. That's what happened. He was doing journalism in the church when he walked in along with the people who were interrupting the church service. Yeah, let's see how that flies with the U.S. prosecutor up there.
Some of these folks who did this have self-identified. Don Lemon himself has come out and said he knew exactly what was going to happen inside that facility. He went into the facility and then he began, quote unquote, committing journalism.
Sounds like Harmeet Dillon of the DOJ has a few ideas about what maybe Don Lemon did or didn't do. And we'll see if he ends up being perp walked.
Shapiro writes that a senior member of Harris's vetting team asked him at one point, have you ever been an agent of the Israeli government?
Well, Josh, we had to ask because after all, you are a Jew. I mean, is that not the most outrageous thing you've ever heard in your life? When screening Josh Shapiro to potentially be her vice presidential candidate, that's what Kamala Harris's team asked him. Unbelievable. Oh, sorry. Not Ethan's fault. Just let me say that right off the bat here. Here we go.
But at some point, Sean, you and I both know the president very well. He's going to lose patience
And Ayatollah is going to be sent to what I guess receive his 77 virgins, if that's really a thing.
It's 72, but maybe there's more for Ayatollahs that I don't know about.
Yeah. Sean Hannity on with the Senator Mark Wayne Mullen last night. They're talking about Iran because a lot of people are still projecting the fact that this could be the end of the Iranian regime, which I think is interesting. I don't know how quickly that the question is what happens, what fills the void. And I don't know if it's got to be better, right? If the people, we would have to be better. I did see, Kim, and I thought this was pretty funny that I heard on the radio this morning on the way in from a news report that somebody hijacked Iranian state TV and like played a message from the Shah of Iran's son, like the deposed Shah from 50 years ago, still has a son who's alive. And he recorded a message and they uploaded it and played it on Iranian state TV.
Oh, I did not hear that.
So heads are going to roll if they figure out who put that tape in.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Well, you think they would, don't you?
Oh, I'm sure they're trying because that is not, that's not who they wanted. They didn't want people to hear from the last guy who was supported freedom in the streets and, letting women actually be seen. There's some strong Iranian women who maybe they're leading some of the fight over there. I would like to think so anyway. All right, we're going to get to a break. I'm going to give our friend Dan Buck plenty of time. The Buck stops here coming up right after this break.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Northbound 141 before Gravois Bluffs, there is an accident on the left-hand side, and that is causing a delay. They just cleared that accident eastbound 70 near Cave Springs. All lanes are now open. Eastbound 6440, most of the volume there is moderate, and it stretches between Mason and Big Bend, with westbound lining up near Hampton. And northbound 55 slowing at Bayless. If you are headed in from Illinois, there is some volume on the Poplar Street Bridge, mainly moderate. And then things are fine once you make it to the Missouri side. This report brought to you by Lakeside Renovation and Design. For over 25 years, they've been St. Louis's trusted choice for transforming homes inside and out. From windows and siding to kitchens, bathrooms, and outdoor spaces, they deliver quality craftsmanship backed by lifetime warranties. Visit lakesiderd.com to start your dream project today. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, Zero Res ready to take care of you for the month of January. What are they going to do? Well, they're going to get in there and they're going to Zero Resify 3 rooms in your house, 3 rooms plus a hallway for $119. Now, that's a deal. Of course, they'll give you 15% off their other things they can Zero Resify. Tile, any hard surface in your home, they can get taken care of. Hardwood, all of those things. Of course, they can do your air ducts. I want you to think about that. As opposed to a regular carpet cleaner who comes over with the water that they inject into your carpet and the residue and the chemicals that they then try to suck back out of there with a big vacuum cleaner. Zero Res doesn't do any of that. They don't use any harsh chemicals. They don't use any harsh residues that are going to stick around in your carpeting. They just get everything sparkling clean with their system that is proprietary, that leaves zero residue. Hence the name. No matter how you spell it, it spells Zero Res. Reach out to them today. Tell them you heard Marc Cox talking about it, and you would like them to come to your house and give you the 97.1 special. 314-474-2020. That's 474-2020. Or just go online to ZeroResSTL.com.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
You're listening to the Marc Cox Morning Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Well, you can't have elected officials encouraging bad behavior, calling those law enforcement officers things like Gestapo, saying they're disappearing people, working people into a frenzy, and labeling them being law enforcement in a way that allows people to feel like, well, I can be very aggressive. I can do something. I can hit.
The buck stops here.
We got Dan Buck on the line this morning. Dan, welcome back. How was your weekend, my friend?
I had a great extended weekend. How about those Indiana Hoosiers, man?
Yeah.
There needs to be a movie about that team. Seriously.
Maybe call it Hoosiers.
Going from the worst of all-time college football to an unbeaten 16-0 year. It was a remarkable run. And what a classy young man leading that team.
Yes.
Yeah. Mendoza. Did you see the quarterback of Miami just leave the field? He didn't walk across and shake hands. He just
I did not.
Left. Yeah.
Didn't one of the guys who had gotten 2 touchdowns last night for Miami start fighting an Indiana player?
Threw a punch at an Indiana player. Somebody pulled him away, but that was unfortunate.
Well, I hate to say it, but the good guys won, and it was the thuggery against the class act of Indiana, and the good guys won. So, because the cheap shots that Mendoza endured in that first half were insane.
Yes.
But,
and no calls.
None. Not
None.
a single yellow flag. 3 in the same drive. He was literally roughed up 3 times with cheap hits, and they called nothing. But hey, again, good guys won. It was awesome.
That's right. It's very true. What's on your mind today,
guys,
buddy?
You guys have been talking, a lot today. Everybody's been talking for the past 2 weeks about ICE. Last week I focused on agitprop. If you didn't look it up later, I encourage you to do so, because that is the tool that the left is using in all of their, whether it's the George Floyd riots, whether it's the ICE riots. It's never about any true victims. It's all about them using agitation and propaganda to try to shape the minds of society to, move this movement forward, this socialist communist movement. But the question of why they're doing this, I think, continues to be, what's perplexing to us conservatives. Anybody who's got a sane mind is asking the question, why are the Democrats so digging in their heels, dead set on being, anti-law and order, everything anti-Trump? But I don't know about you. I think it's much deeper than Donald Trump. And I heard probably the most succinct explanation of the why come from the Heritage Foundation, their director of Border Security and Immigration Center. posted something on, I think, Friday. Laura Reese is her name, and she nails it. It's the why behind this huge liberal opposition to ICE and deportations in general. You know, no matter how serious the crime of these guys, no matter the carnage that they've caused, no matter the rapes, the murders, you know, the drugs that have killed millions of Americans, forget all that. They don't care about the people involved in these fights. She explains this is clearly all about the power that the left is trying to grasp onto and hold on to as they try to move this socialist agenda forward. And they see these illegals as that path forward. So play the clip, hit it, Ethan. I think you're going to love what Laura Reese has to say.
This is clearly a pattern by the radical left to prevent more deportations because the left has built their political house of cards on mass immigration, and they don't want to see their voters, their ballot harvesters, their head count be deported. Everything we're seeing, whether it's illegal immigration or rioting or you name it, fraud, it's due to lack of consequences. For decades, we have looked the other way from illegal immigration, from overstaying visas, from working without authorization, from committing identity and document fraud. That's how we got to anywhere from 11 to 20 million illegal aliens before Joe Biden entered the White House. And then he doubled that. Now that the Trump administration is trying to enforce immigration laws, the left doesn't like it. Illegal aliens don't like it. And so they're lashing out. It's kind of like parenting 101. If you're not going to be a parent and discipline your children when you suddenly do so, kids lash out and have tantrums. We're seeing the adult version of that. We need much more immigration enforcement, many more deportations, not just worst of the worst. We need to normalize deportations. But also we need consequences to these rioters, to their organizers, and to their funders. We need major, very high numbers of arrests, prosecutions, convictions, and sentencing.
Wow. Did she not nail it right there, guys?
Well, I know.
Though the parenting analogy is really good because they're throwing a tantrum. That's what they're doing. They're basically kicking and screaming and saying, you give me my way, or I'm going to start breaking into churches and protesting and disrupting the service or stopping law enforcement from doing their job.
Boy, in that church issue, if heads do not roll on that, if we do not see perp walks come out of that, starting with Don Lemon, I am going to be outraged. That was a complete violation of the freedom of exercise of religion that I have ever witnessed. It is unlawful. Even Minnesota has state laws that prohibit the disruption of church services. So they're not enforcing their state law. There's several federal laws that were broken there. Pam Bondi better follow through. She always loves the tough words, but right now I'm fed up with words. People who disrupt a Christian church service. And how cool was it? Did you guys see that they packed that church later in the day?
I did not. I did not see that.
Yes. No, of course nobody saw that. But no, they had another service. They had a special service because the morning was disrupted and they all went home. They all came back that evening and people from the community heard about it, and Christians showed up there in droves and packed that church and had another peaceful, wonderful worship service. And of course, the mainstream media didn't want to talk about that because the power of God will always win over the power of evil. And they don't want to let people know that the Christian faith is going to be resilient through all of this terror. And that's what it is. It's 100% terrorism. And if people don't rise up, don't come back. And the way that pastor handled it, and even their parishioners, I was so proud.
I thought they did well. They just held their hands up in the air and prayed.
Amen. And did not buy into their hate and their anger and did not react. Now, had a weapon been done or somebody would have been assaulted in that church, now it would have been gloves off. I mean, now you've got to protect your own. But the way in which they did, they just raised their hands in prayer and they, cast out the demons. They didn't stay very long. Most people don't realize that protest only lasted about 7 minutes. I also didn't realize they had sat in the back of church for like the first half of the service. That whole group
getting right. I see. Yeah, just kind of snuck in and blended in.
Like they were peaceful. Well, yeah, they made it look like they were just a peaceful group and all assembled, and then they rose up in the middle of his sermon and basically, took over the church. But anyway, None of us can understand this level of hate, this level of stupidity, and the complete lack of logic behind these protesters. But you do know that it's part of a plot.
Out of time.
It's part of a plan.
I would agree with that. Great segment, Dan. Hey, great having you on. Have a great week.
Awesome. You too, guys. Have a great week.
All right. We'll see you later. Dan Buck, the Buck stops here. Up next, Ryan Wiggins on something going on in a different state that is going to make you shake your head. We're back after this.
You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com. Hey, guys, are you dealing with low energy, weight gain, or issues in the bedroom? Game Day Men's Health is the premier men's health clinic in the St. Louis area with locations in Chesterfield and O'Fallon, Missouri. They specialize in low testosterone and sexual health, and they also help men and women with medical weight loss, vitamins, and peptides. They offer free consultations and testosterone tests with results in about 20 minutes. Get in, get answers, get back to the top of your game. Visit GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Again, that's GameDayMen'sHealth.com.
You never, ever, ever want to deal with water in the basement, but boy, when you do, you got to get it. You got to get it straightened up in a hurry. You got to get it dried out. You got to make sure it's not damaging your belongings, your drywall. Why not just get it fixed once and for all? And to do that, I'm going to recommend you call Home Shield Foundation Repairs. My friend Matt Hayes, 314-271-9900. That gets you to Matt. Great guy, down to earth. He's going to explain this to you in terms you can understand. And know this, he's not there to sell you something you don't need. If you need a simple crack sealed, he's going to do that. If you need drain tiles, he's going to get that taken care of. If it's a bowing or leaning wall, he'll take care of that. At the end of it, you get a lifetime warranty. 314-271-9900. Be sure and tell them Marc Cox sent you. Go online today. See what they do at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
I'm Nicole Murray with Your Money Now. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy said President Trump's tariffs have started to creep into the price of some items. Sellers tried to absorb the shock of the tariffs by buying stock ahead of time, but much of that inventory has run out. Jassy added Amazon is trying to keep prices as low as possible. AstraZeneca said it would delist its American depository shares and debt securities from NASDAQ and complete a direct listing of its ordinary shares and debt on the New York Stock Exchange, effective after market close on January 30th. AstraZeneca will maintain its AZN ticker symbol. Italian luxury sports car maker Lamborghini said it has delivered just over 10,700 vehicles worldwide in 2025, slightly improving on its prior year performance and achieving a record. Lamborghini attributed the strong performance to its hybridization strategy and solid results across all regions. Futures are sharply lower by more than 1% after Trump threatens new tariffs over Greenland. That's Your Money Now.
Are you living with dry AMD? If so, you could be on the road to geographic atrophy, or GA, a condition that leads to retinal cell death and permanent vision loss. But with Izervay, you can
slow it down, get it going slower.
Izervay slows GA progression by targeting a key source of retinal cell death, which may help preserve your vision longer. Izervay, or Avastin Capted Pagel, is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Well, we've got emergency vehicles. I can't tell whether it is a stall or an accident, but it's southbound 170. It's a FedEx truck getting up onto a tow truck, and it's on the right side. They're mostly on the shoulder, but it's so close to the actual lane that is causing a delay this morning. Eastbound 70, a little moderate volume headed for Wentzville, and then 70 opens up. 6440, most of the volume there is east of Lindbergh through Big Bend. Westbound slowing around Clayton Skinker through the inner belt, and that's just moderate volume. 55 northbound, a little bit that way at Bayless. Northbound 270, slow pockets from Big Bend up through 64. And if you are headed in from Illinois, things look fine on the bridges downtown. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative. Doesn't it feel like you hear, I don't know, every so often somebody will say, man, I wish I would have known that before I blank, whatever that may be. And I hear a lot of, I wish I would have known that before I retired, just as I get older. And I think, okay, what do you do about this sort of thing? The only thing you can do is educate yourself about how retirement works as far as your finances go. And that's why I like financial and tax architects, because that's their idea too. They think, all right, we're going to put on a class. It's called Retirement Planning 101, and it's free, but you have to register. And they hold this at colleges throughout the area. It's just one night, but you learn, okay, well, here's an idea of how to plan your income for retirement. Here's when you should take Social Security, that sort of thing. Oh my gosh, this is the stuff you have to know to feel good about retirement. So call and register for a class. 314-888-5101. 314-888-5101.
St. Louis laughed it up with Jimmy Fallon live at the Factory on January 24th. From national radio to sold-out comedy clubs, Jimmy delivers fast, fearless stand-up that hits home.
The only ones raising tough kids anymore. The redneck babies are going to take on ISIS. The hipster babies are going to battle the evil forces of gluten. You know what I'm saying?
Grab your friends and get ready for a night of laughs. One show, one night only. Don't miss Jimmy Fallon January 24th at the Factory. Get your tickets now at thefactorystl.com. That's thefactorystl.com.
Hey guys, Clever here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalance. If you reach that certain age, you're just not feeling very well, nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
I do appreciate all the referrals that we receive daily. It is phenomenal. I've said it. I can't say it enough how much I do appreciate the referrals. With that being said, if you do refer me, great hands. I will sell homeowners that work hard for their money, just like myself, crap that they do not need. But if you want good quality, man, you can't even say cheap anymore. I don't think you can say cheap, but you can go by price. Okay, that's another commercial. Call me, Bart in one easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Remember, it's the only number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600 or bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
And they said not to me, but we to guard against Russia. But you know, NATO's been warning Denmark for about 20 years now, longer than that, 25 years. They've been warning Denmark about the Russian threat. And it's not only Russia, it's also China. So we'll see what happens. But let's put it this way. It's going to be very interesting what happens. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good night. Thank you.
Ryan's in studio with us. That was the president before he took off for a trip to Switzerland, I guess, to Davos for the World Economic Forum, run by the guy that is the CEO of BlackRock. Like, if you didn't already have a bunch of conspiracies in your head about the World Economic Forum, now it's run by the guy who also runs BlackRock.
Well, they're just looking out for the little guy.
Yeah, that's it.
BlackRock is known for that.
Well, the World
Oh.
Economic Forum certainly is.
Oh
in
my
general.
gosh. He also, if he really wanted to stir him up a little more, Ryan, apparently you're going to hold some military exercises in Greenland this weekend. And what he should have said was, we're calling that Operation Orangeland. If he had just said that, then that would tee him off even more before he flies over there.
Oh man, the Greenland thing and Europe.
1 year ago today is when Donald Trump was sworn in. Ryan was just pointing that at Fox coverage out here a minute ago. And think of all of the things that we've accomplished in that year. It's just hard to contemplate that one person could get that much done in a year. And if you listen to the left, he's been a complete failure.
Oh yeah, and I was looking at polling the other day about ICE because I think that's probably the most enduring imagery of the first year is having to do all these deportations, and the public opinion is still with them on it, and not by a narrow majority. It's including Democrats, include all voters, and it's something like 65% approval of deportations. And so what you see on TV is the agitators, a lot of them paid agitators, super far left. And that's the imagery that sticks with that issue. But ultimately, voters are actually very much with him on it.
Yeah, well, that's what we voted for.
Right.
And they're accomplishing for sure. And speaking of people voting for something, the voters in Virginia voted last year too, didn't they?
Man, the voters in Virginia decided, let's go back left. Let's get away from Glenn Youngkin, who's been a terrific governor, actually. Get away from that, go back to the left, and let's make things more affordable. Because Mark, that's what the Democrats are campaigning on, is making America more affordable for everybody, including the little guy, him, like the World Economic Forum.
Well, and that whole platform has been very successful. I mean, look at Mamdani in New York
Oh,
City.
look, it's a good pitch, but when they take power, here's what they're doing. I've got a list here of some different ways that they're going to make life more affordable for Virginians.
These are bills that have been introduced in the Virginia legislature.
Yes.
By the Democrats.
Democrats control
the
legislature and the governorship.
Senate, House,
Everything.
governorship, they can do whatever they want. And these are the things that they have prioritized. These are the first things they've put out there. Now, there's other social things too. I'm just focusing on the economic stuff. A 4.3 sales tax on Uber Eats, Amazon, and new deliveries. That helps the little guy, right? New sales tax on admissions to a wide variety of businesses. Create 2 new higher tax brackets of 8% and 10% on people making over $600,000. A new 10% tax bracket for anyone making over $1 million. 3.8 investment tax on top of state income taxes, so that's an encouraged investment in the state.
Yeah, that should help.
New investment tax, and all these taxes in general, and then raise. This is the stuff about the millionaire. You're like, oh well, that's not me, so it doesn't. Hotel tax,
period.
That's it. You're gonna stay at a hotel, you're gonna pay more.
Well, and think about it. The investors are the ones who maybe people get irritated that they buy up these properties, but they're the ones who then are providing housing for the quote unquote the smaller guy.
Well, it's not just investment in housing. I mean, it's investment in
Businesses,
anything.
their jobs, everything.
Anything.
Yeah.
New personal property tax on landscaping equipment.
Oh.
That should bring down the cost of putting in some new trees.
I mean, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
ultimate small business.
Yeah.
Is owning a landscaping business, and they're going to raise the personal property tax or add a new personal property tax on any landscaping equipment, and then ban gas-powered leaf blowers and some other things like that. Now we can get on the social side of what they're doing, but that's just the economics. They're just basically passing every tax they can think of day one, or at least we'll see if they pass them. That's the legislative priority, though.
Well, but the social side of it is equally as interesting,
Oh,
right?
it's bad.
From the list that you sent, including guaranteeing free health care for anybody who's in the country illegally. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct. That is correct.
Wow.
Yeah. That's on the illegal alien front.
Yes, free education.
How about on the abortion front? They want to make it illegal to approach somebody at an abortion clinic. So even peacefully, like these ministries that exist that actually save a lot of lives, they'll just park a truck outside one of those big RVs that's like a medical truck. They say, look, we can do all of your stuff for free right here. and then they just counsel.
Right.
And they're
Sidewalk counselors.
trying to make all that illegal because they want more abortions. I mean, that's the point. And then they're trying to also make abortion legal up to birth. So that's some of this. That's just abortion. But you've got the full list.
Well, no, they want to expand ranked choice voting. They want to extend the deadline for ballot counting to 1 week after Election Day so they can cure ballots for a full week. Now, the Supreme Court may have something to say about that before they could ever pass it. A $500 tax on firearm suppressors because, of course, on January 1st, they dropped the $200 federal tax on suppressors. They want to add a $500 state tax to discourage people from buying them.
You know, a lot of these socialist policies like the one Mamdani wants to implement in New York City, obviously are failures. I feel for our friends in New York City, but I kind of hope it ends up being an epic failure because even though you can look to other countries like Venezuela and say, clearly that was a failure there, it doesn't seem close enough to really impact people to realize that's a terrible idea wherever you do it.
Collapse.
Yeah, I don't hope that it's going to be a bad idea.
I feel for the
You just know it will.
But then people
work.
learn. Oh,
Well,
this is a terrible idea.
Yeah. But so the partisan issues, you expect them to do stuff with abortion. You expect them to try to limit Second Amendment, right, Mark? But how about these issues that are they're not even middle or left issues? Lower the criminal penalties for robbery. Ban the arrest of illegal aliens in courthouses, which means don't work with ICE at all.
Correct.
Which is also, by the way, this is why it looks so crazy, is because local officials and law enforcement aren't allowed to work with ICE. If they were, it wouldn't look like this. It would look very different because you'd have everybody kind of working in tandem toward the same goal, which is a combined goal, which is the voters' goal. Allow localities to install new speed cameras, remove mandatory minimum sentences. So
That's nice.
basically just if you do crime, they're going to be more lenient on you.
Well, isn't the funding for ICE one of the things that's going to be up for debate here when they're trying to figure out if we can avoid another partial government shutdown?
At the federal level.
Or at the federal level, but I'm saying that's going to have a widespread impact.
But that's
if they
not
try
gonna,
to cut that
I
funding.
mean, that's not going to pass. But if the Democrats were to take control in the midterms, imagine if they took the House and the Senate, imagine the damage they could do.
Even just one.
This is a great reminder for Virginia of what Democrats will actually do if they get power back. Because they can say right now anything they want and just say, oh, we're going to make things more affordable. Well, then they get in office and they make things immediately less affordable for everybody. So it's just a good reminder of what their priorities are.
It's crazy. Those are proposals.
Right.
But they do control the House, the Senate, and now the governorship. And they're pushing, including an assault weapons ban, right? They're trying to push through right now. All right. Ryan, can you hang out?
Yeah.
All right. We'll keep Wiggins in the studio. We'll be back here in just a minute.
Traffic from the 97.1 FM Talk Traffic Center.
Good morning to you. We have had some incidents on the roads this morning. Watch out. The latest was a tractor trailer on the right shoulder, southbound 170, close to Delmore. It's a FedEx truck, and it's still there. They've got it closer to being on the tow truck, but that is causing a delay in that area. Eastbound 44, starting to jam, approaching Kings Highway. Actually, it's closer to Hampton now. In the construction zone there. Northbound 270, slow pockets between Big Bend and 64. 55 is in good shape. 70 eastbound looks good. And no problems on the Poplar Street Bridge. I'm Sue Thomas with traffic on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
All right, you will get to sit down with my friends at the Retirement Advisory Group for free and figure out what the pitfalls are of retirement. What could those be? Let's see. Well, maybe you don't have any tax strategies in place. Maybe you haven't thought about the fact that all the money you have in that 401k or 403b is taxable at some point, and you've got a pile of it that you've collected over the years. For example, what do you do with it? If you turn 59 and a half, there are options you need to. You can transfer it penalty-free to something more secure. These are the kinds of conversations you'll have with Tammy Kershaw, Bob Kershaw, Thomas Elbig. It's a family-run operation at the Retirement Advisory Group. And, they're not breaking new ground. They've been doing this for 38 years, teaching people how to secure that nest egg so the money's there when you need it. So you can enjoy retirement. That's really what it's all about. Just call them up. Say, I heard Mark talking about this. Wouldn't mind at least having a conversation. Never any obligation. I'll sit down with you for free. 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com.
2026 is an election year, and 97.1 FM Talk will be your home for every twist and turn in the 2026 midterms. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it here for radio coverage that's 25 years strong.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. After suffering an injury, you may face many hard questions. What will tomorrow bring? Which firm should I choose to represent me and my family? At Morgan & Morgan, we will hold your hand every step of the way. From our one-click sign-up, mobile app, and 24/7 availability, we make it easy to get your case started right from the comfort of your couch. All firms are not the same. The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. For the injured, visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
What if every time you spend money, you save money too? With Achievement Checking from Together Credit, you could do just that. Every debit card purchase is rounded up to the nearest dollar, and the store change goes right into your savings. And here's the best part. Together Credit Union boosts your profits and matching qualifying savings up to $8 a month. It's a free checking account that helps you achieve more automatically. Learn more, or better yet, enroll today at togethercu.org. Together Credit Union, federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell consult. The Cordell consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Cordell.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 314-567-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing, growing value.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 14937.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
You're back with Marc Cox and Kim St. On, the Marc Cox Morning Show, 97.1 FM Talk.
Yeah, back on the soapbox for a minute here. We were just joining the show. We've got some audio problems online and what's going on. I apologize for that. We can't figure it out. It sounds like your water.
Well, so should we try to sound like
yeah, so earlier I was complaining I've been having a back and forth with a friend in Minneapolis who accused me of not understanding what it's like because they're not doing ice raids in Missouri, and if it was just affecting my needs, I'd feel differently. And my point was, no, I wouldn't, because it's happening in Missouri, but we honor ICE detainers here, so you don't see it. ICE goes to the county courthouse or the city courthouse, and they pick up people that have already been arrested because they're criminals or not released back into the community. Your elected leaders are the problem in Minneapolis. That's the problem. So here's the other problem. Now they've got a mob mentality going on up there, right? So these 3 tech workers from a local firm were out having lunch this weekend in Minneapolis. And somebody in the restaurant, one of the workers, thought they were ICE agents, and she alerted one of the mobs, and they showed up at the restaurant and confronted these people who work for a local tech firm, who actually happened to politically agree with them until he got a little turned off by their attitude. Play cut 19 for the people. Listen to this.
This is what?
the night, and they still continue harassing him, claiming if you're not with us, you're against this kind of mob mentality.
That's the mindset that really bothers the left.
Yes.
You're the enemy. If you don't 100% agree with me, we hate you. We're going to cancel you, and in this case, harass you and blow us.
Like the guy in the church, right?
Yeah.
And so yesterday, an ICE agent pulled up. They're trying to gain access to arrest a sex offender. And, of course, there's some jerk out there laying on his horn trying to block him from doing that. This is what the frustrated ICE agent had to say. Go to cut 9.
We're here to arrest a child sex offender. And you guys are out here hogging.
Oh, we're not. No, we're not.
That vehicle right there is hogging and impeding our investigation while we're trying to arrest a child sex offender. That's who you guys are protecting.
Insane. It's true. Thank God the guy he just got frustrated and rolled his window down and told the media.
That was an ICE officer, right?
Yes.
Yeah. That's what they're dealing with. Mark, the thing is, the protesters, they don't care. They don't care if you are a murderer. They don't care if you're a gang member. You're pushing, crazy drugs into your community. They don't care if you're a pedophile. They don't care. They feel like I'm justified because I've decided that I am. The facts don't matter.
And what did we just see on the TV screen here a minute ago? Abigail Spanberger sworn in as governor of Virginia on Saturday. And in her speech, in her acceptance speech after being sworn in, she said, we will immediately end all association with ICE?
Cooperation.
All
Any
cooperation with
cooperation.
ICE. Like she announced that as she got sworn in. So now Virginia has gone from a place where they would honor ICE detainers to a place where ICE will be forced to go into the community at the risk to the community and themselves to get the bad guys. Do you think they're not going to do that? Of course they are. And that's just what the left is hoping for. They're baiting them.
Yes.
Until they can get somebody else killed, like Renee Good, and then they'll set him up as a martyr, and they just use it to further their narrative.
I'd like to see what this is like in Florida when they're trying to arrest these people, how smooth it goes. When law enforcement is actually working with them, when they're not some ridiculous sanctuary city trying to protect these people.
That's why you don't hear about it in Florida and Texas
Right.
and Missouri as much, because we're working with them.
Yeah.
And you only hear about now Virginia. You're going to hear about Virginia soon.
It's coming.
You didn't before, but you will.
It's coming. Ryan, remind people when they can hear Wiggins America, please.
Saturday morning, 7 to 8. Sunday night, 7 to 8.
And every day on the Annie Fry Show, coming up right here at noon. By the way, the Supreme Court releasing some more opinions at the top of the hour, 9 a.m. Stay tuned to Fox News and the Brian Kilmeade Show. They'll have the very latest coverage on that. And, of course, I'm sure Annie and Mark will cover it later this afternoon. We'll see you Wednesday morning at about 5 a.m.
Time now.